roads you've crossed. I don't know if I'm lost. I suppose that it's possible. Could you help me find God? I'm exhausted. Had it, I lost it. No matter the cost, won't just watch you walk on by. Could you say it if I should even give it a try? I don't want you to lie. I want your love is all I want for my life. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. And I wonder now if you knew somehow I was following behind. I'm on a cloud to help me write down this song of mine. You hold your head down, 'cause it's always on your mind. It's always on your mind. Ever since our two roads you've crossed, I don't know if I'm lost. I suppose that it's possible. Could you help me find God? I'm exhausted. Had it, I lost it. No matter the cost, won't just watch you walk on by. Could you say it if I should even give it a try? I don't want you to lie. I want your love is all I want for my life. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. You should say anything I can do for you. Should say anything I can do for you. Should
The
say
trans athlete is gonna do a lot
anything
to
I
like
can
foster.
do for your love. 'Cause for love you're gonna need two roads you've crossed. I don't know if I'm lost. I suppose that it's possible. Could you help me find God? I'm exhausted. Had it, I lost it. No matter the cost, we'll just watch you walk on by. Could you say it if I should even give it a try? I don't want you to lie. I want your love is all I want for my life. To have love is all I want for my life. To have love is all. So I want for my life to have love is all. Standing on the patio outside your door, I knock once more, wishing that you loved me so much more, and that you'd open up this door. Baby, if you could somehow see the simple man I could be, I think you love, my love, and if you want it, then it's yours. Got a ticket in the crowd outside your door. I feel ignored, but now I know why I hold the number 4. And know you'll never love me more. Baby, if you could somehow see the simple man I could be, I think you love, my love, and if you want it, then it's yours. hanging on the handle on your door. Never felt less like a man before. Can't you see that I need this? And we could be so damn much more. Oh baby, if you could somehow see the simple man I could be, I think you love my love, my love. And if you want it, then it's yours. Since you left me guessing at the scene of this crime, baby, I've sought to find out heaven, everything you've left behind. Got the memory of the moment you last lived in my mind. However, heaven right here on earth is now so hard to find. So I will travel to eternity to see creation's most beautiful sight. If to me your heaven, your gates are even open past tonight. And if I say it, you can trust it's true, 'cause I have put my trust in you. So lie is what I must not do, unless in love and just with you, just with you. Since you left me guessing at the scene of this crime, baby, I've sought to find out heaven, everything you've left behind. I've got the memory of the moment you last lived in my mind. However, heaven right here on earth is now so hard to find. So I will travel to eternity to see creation's most beautiful sight. If to me your heaven, your gates are even open past tonight. And if I say it, you can trust it's true, 'cause I have put my trust in you. So liar's what I must not do, unless in love and just with you, just with you.
Check, check, check. Okay. It's number two. Thank you. Okay.
We're still sidetracked. What's this?
The president actually just got off the phone with me right before the show, and he said he has spoken to you about this deal and that he is against it, and he urged you to be against this deal. He was President Trump was extremely adamant about that. Your reaction to that, given the fact that, look, he knows how to do this enforcement stuff. You don't need some new bill coming out of the Senate to get the border enforced.
Yeah, President Trump is not wrong. He and I have been talking about this.
Doesn't brandishing mean that someone is holding the weapon in a ready-to-fire manner? No. Brandishing is when you're acting menacingly or threatening with a weapon. Brandishing a weapon does not mean holding it, and it doesn't even necessarily mean aiming it, or it might not even necessarily mean flagging somebody with it. For instance, it's very common for rifles that you would use a sling to carry a rifle. Having a sling with a rifle, and if it points at somebody, hopefully it doesn't because you've got it slung well, I don't think that would count as brandishing. However, it wouldn't surprise me, we need more criminal lawyers here, it wouldn't surprise me if you had a gun in a holster and you walked up to somebody and you're like, you want to fucking fight? And you like start to pull your gun out a little bit. You don't even aim it at him, but you pull it out. It's like, let's go, dude. I've got red. It wouldn't surprise me if that counts as brandishing a firearm. Even though you didn't even draw it, you're not aiming at the person. You might get like a brandishing thing there. But brandishing is basically, I think, is using a gun in like a threatening manner. But it doesn't necessarily mean aiming it at somebody. And aiming a gun at somebody, or like having a gun in a sling, is not the same as brandishing a firearm.
Pretty frequently. I talked to him night before last about the same subject. We don't have the text of whatever the Senate has cooked up yet. And so we have to reserve judgment, I think, to see what comes out of it. It doesn't sound good.
The president actually just got off the phone with me right before the show, and he said he has spoken to you about this deal and that he is
It's revealing that you concealed holster considered brandishing. Bro, I literally have a concealed carry permit. Post yours in chat, you fucking retard. I didn't say that concealed carry holster is brandishing, you fucking moron. I said that if you walk up to somebody while you're concealed carrying and you show your gun off while you're telling them you're gonna fucking pop a cap in their ass, that could count as brandishing. But, okay. Stop.
Yeah, well, it happened again last week. Dana Nessa suffered another devastating loss. 3 men accused of aiding and abetting in the terrorist plot to kidnap and put on a boat, take her to Wisconsin, take the Governor Whitmer to Wisconsin, try her in a barn for what were they?
Treason? I don't know.
Treason, yeah, what else? We're gonna find out.
Some
right?
generic, yeah.
Right, convict her and then lock her in a dog cage for 5 years. Either that or put her in a boat and let her drift around Lake Michigan. I'm not sure. We're going to find out, because with us now is Eric Molitor, one of 3 men last week that was acquitted of all these charges. He's a former Wolverine Watchman terrorist, but he's not.
Co-conspirator.
Co-conspirator. Hello, Eric, Wolverine Watchman. How do you get into the Wolverine Watchman?
Well, I never was.
Okay, so this guy is the Eric. We did read this, didn't we? He worked for a company that provides respiratory and ballistic protection for the military and first responders. January 2020, gave the works for kind of. Okay, we read this. All right. I don't know why we're linking this 5-minute video. We'll watch him talk.
In the Wolverine Watchman.
What do you mean you weren't in the Wolverine Watchman? Dana said you were a Wolverine Watchman. You were, the governor called you. No, I'm sorry. The official said you were a Wolverine Watchman. What do you mean you weren't?
I hate to call them a liar. However, they are. It's just a way for them to try to slander me and drag my name through the mud and kind of make me guilty in the eyes of the public before I even had a trial.
So what happened here was, like, a bunch of guys met on Facebook, right? They're bitching about the government. They're bitching about Whitmer and the lockdown. And they hatched this plot. They're going to kidnap her and take her to the barn, right? And so you all start meeting. Is that correct, Eric?
Correct. I was never part of any meetings, know about any plans. I didn't know anything. I didn't know the people. I knew of Adam Fox. The guy had got me a job at security, so I was pretty grateful to him, especially during 2019, 2020, when jobs were really it.
Okay, first of all, we should say this. The whole thing, the captain of this whole thing was a guy named Big Dan,
Oh, this
right?
poor dumb redneck.
Yeah, Dan. He was the confidential human source, the original CHS for the FBI.
Dan Chaplin, who sees chatter going on Facebook. He alerts the authorities. He's put in touch with the FBI. They put him on the payroll, and he becomes pretty much the de facto leader of the group, right?
Within 2 weeks, he was second in command. The group actually supposedly wanted him for first in command, but that would have been against his FBI admonishments. So he was told that he could not be first, he could only be second.
So he's the guy putting together training. He's the guy putting together meetings. He's the guy paying for people to get to Ohio to meet at a motel, right? And it's all FBI money.
So altogether, there were 14 different undercovers and confidential humans. All of them were game amongst themselves. So Dan was not the only one giving the training, giving people rides, paying for food, paying for lodging. There were multiple.
This connection sucks. I think the government's fucking bugging us. Okay, so 14 people were working for the feds. How many people were just mopes like you?
I guess about 14.
So half of this group is actually the feds.
Yes, sir.
And without the feds, would you guys have done this, done the recon, gone up to her house, met, did training in the woods, et cetera, et cetera?
None of this stuff would have happened without the feds getting involved and making it happen. Dan Apple, I call him the magnet that the government put out to attract everybody else. There are always, I hate saying it, kind of dangerous elements or people that talk crazy. There's always people that do that. So why would you put somebody out there to draw them all together and then feed them plans? And like I said, they paid for traveling, lodging, all sorts of interstate. So this is not just within Michigan.
Well, how did you get linked up with it then? If you're not one of them, how do you find yourself in a truck with an FBI informant, right? Looking at the governor's house, taking pictures. We'll get to whether or not that's intent or not. But how do you even get hooked up with them if you're not one of them?
Okay, so this is going to take a little bit, man. It's going to take more than 15 minutes, probably. Is that okay?
No. Give me the 2-minute version. You got it. You know what I hear a lot?
Michael and William Knoll, twin brothers, allegedly helped conduct surveillance of Whitmer's vacation home. They were also former members of another militia group called Michigan Liberty Militia. They were photographed at a protest held by Michigan United for Liberty, a right-wing group protesting against Whitmer's COVID-19 lockdown orders at the Michigan State Capitol on April 30th. William also attended another anti-lockdown rally in May, as well as Black Lives Matter rallies in Grand Rapids and Flint, according to Berry County Sheriff Dar Leaf. Though Leaf also said William vented about the movement. William was also photographed at a February 27th protest against Trump's Executive Order 13769. Does this have to do with bump stocks or some shit? Or was that banned in Congress? I don't remember. Oh, labeled the Muslim travel ban. Was the bump stock ban legislation, or where did this even come from? Ban went into effect on March 26, 2019. Bump stock ban. Regulatory. Federal. ATF ruled in 2010. I don't care. DOJ announced a plan to ban bump stocks at the federal level. ATF rule. Last sentence of first paragraph. On February 20th, 2018, President Trump instructed the ATF to issue regulations to trade bump stocks and machine guns. Okay, gotcha. Okay. All right. Jesus Christ. He and members of the Michigan Liberty Militia were counter-protesting while wearing military fatigues, carrying firearms, and waving a Gadsden flag. Williams also allegedly made threats against the protesters on Facebook. Oh God, this is that cringe flag. A good rule of thumb is if the whole idea plan originates from the police, it's likely entrapment. Otherwise, entrapment is a near impossible defense. If the whole idea plan, I thought the general guiding thing is probably more complicated in practice. I thought that for entrapment, you have to be enticed to do a crime that like you wouldn't do otherwise. Like there has to be some pretty big pressure, you know? Like if I walk up to a dude and I'm like, hey, listen, I'm gonna give you this gun if you want to go and like kill the president. If a guy's like, fucking hey, dude, and he takes the gun and goes to do it, I don't think that's considered entrapment because he wasn't like super enticed to do the crime, right? Like if law enforcement gives you the opportunity to commit a crime and you jump on it, I don't think that counts as entrapment ever. Like an undercover cop can offer to sell you drugs and you buy it. You can't be like, well, I got entrapped. But maybe we'll see. Corey shot that. Join the disagreement room real quick, okay, if you want. Jesus. Entrapment entails an action you wouldn't have taken otherwise. No, I do not believe that is the case. I think that's like a super misunderstood thing. That people think that entrapment is just if the police get you to do something you wouldn't have done otherwise, then that's entrapment. I don't think that's the case. I think the police have to like induce you to do otherwise. Like if a cop walks up and he's like, hey, listen, you know, I got a 14-year-old in my car. You're gonna go fuck her, and you're like, yeah, I'm a pedophile, or a bibliophile, whatever the fuck it is. I don't think that counts as entrapment. But if a cop walks up to you and he's like, hey, I got a 14-year-old car, you want to have sex with her? And you're like, I don't know. And the guy's like, okay, well, if you don't, I'm going to kill your family. It's like, that would count as entrapment because you're inducing the action with like a lot of pressure or whatever. But like what counts as too much pressure, what doesn't, I think can be up for debate. But like you can't just cry entrapment because you do something illegal that the cops gave you the opportunity to do. If a cop gives you the opportunity to commit a crime and you do it, I don't think that counts as entrapment. An example of police entrapment would be if a police officer threatened to arrest a suspect unless they agreed to sell drugs. For the officer, sure. What? No, can't be true. Go look it up. I don't want to do all this shit here, okay? Go look it up. You're only speaking about the U.S., right? Yeah, you fucking... I don't know what entrapment looks like in other countries or whatever. I'm not arguing about this, okay? What if they socially pressure you to do it by encouragement? They don't offer threats. I think if there's like a high level of social pressure, you can consider it entrapment. I think that like the idea is supposed to be that if you take somebody, if you just give them the opportunity to commit a crime and they jump on it, it's not entrapment. But if you're doing like social pressure, you're getting somebody who's like, normally I would never consider this, but like, you know, like if you're like a debate mastermind, you debate lord some dude into going to do things like, okay, fuck, then that would be considered entrapment. But it probably varies from, probably from case to case. brothers were 2 of the 5 suspects turned over for trial on December 7, 2022. They're accused of providing material support for terrorist acts as well as a gun crime. Paul Beller, who was arrested in Columbia, South Carolina, where he had moved from Milford over the summer after conviction, was responsible for designing the tactical training exercises used by the Wolverine Watchmen, which included the use of firearms, medical treatment, and other tasks. Beller's former neighbor in Milford said the pandemic caused Beller to lose his job and called him a very angry person, and said he threatened her with a gun after running with her. According to Beller's father, he trained for the U.S. Army at Fort Jackson for a year before being discharged in 2019 with a diagnosis of PTSD. Man, PTSD from what? He trained for a year. What happened? Beller was convicted in October of 2022 in Michigan State Court of providing material support for a terrorist act, membership in a gang, and a gun crime. On December 15, 2022, he was sentenced to 7 to 20 years in prison. Brian Higgins was a resident of Wisconsin Dells, Wisconsin. When he was arrested on October 15th, he was alleged to have provided his night vision goggles and dash cam to help conduct surveillance of his home. Higgins was one of 5 suspects turned over for trial on December 7, 2022. He's on March 15, 2023, pleaded guilty. Providing material support for an act of terrorism and agreed to cooperate with prosecutors against the other 4 defendants at trial set for August 2023. The sentencing date has not yet been set. He faces a maximum of 5 years in prison. Corey is in the disagreement. We're going to do this with What do you want?
What's going on?
Hi, how's it going?
What's going on? What's going on?
What's up?
So, there is plenty of evidence. I have a lot of friends that were in Kenosha that night, and there is video. I know I actually just went to one of your Reddit forums, and there was many people talking about the yellow pants guy who never came forward, who identified Kyle Rittenhouse as the person who brandished his weapon to many people that night.
Okay, don't care. Where was he in trial?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of people that didn't go to trial. There was a lot of things that were inadmissible too, sort of like the video outside of the CVS or the Walgreens of Kyle Rittenhouse wishing he had his weapon so he could shoot him. That wasn't admissible. I mean, when you have a judge that doesn't allow things to be admissible in court, I mean, you have a stacked trial.
No,
and we all knew.
When you have a judge that doesn't allow certain things to be admissible in court, that's just a judge going over rules of admissibility and what evidence he thinks is relevant or not relevant. And in this particular case, he decided that character evidence wasn't really relevant to prove the crime of whether he had killed the people in Kenosha during the riots. And somebody making a statement months earlier saying like, God, I would kill these people for breaking into this, blah, blah, blah. He decided that character evidence was inadmissible. I think character evidence like that is usually admissible. I don't think that was anything out of the norm.
But that would prove state of mind, right?
No.
That wouldn't prove state of mind. So, for example, if I was on, if I had a video out right before, let's say 2 weeks before January 6th, and I said, man, I just wish I could go to a right-wing rally and just put some lead in some people. And then, let's say 2 weeks later, I go to January 6th, and let's just say I end up doing that very same thing. You telling me that wouldn't be admissible in my trial?
If that's what had happened, maybe it'd be more admissible. If Rittenhouse had shot somebody breaking into a CVS or something, maybe he would have changed his mind.
No, I'm talking about the state of mind.
The state of mind, but the state of mind of whether he'd shoot somebody for breaking into something or not wasn't really relevant to what happened. That wasn't what he was being accused of.
Right. Well, and I'm pretty sure you would probably agree with this. There is a huge double standard when it comes to how leftists are treated. I think I just saw a video, I watched a video not too long ago where you were talking about the Reinhold case, where there is a huge double standard in how leftists, especially armed leftists, who end up, in circumstances where they shoot or they maim a right-winger, we don't get the same leniency. We don't get the same benefit of the doubt.
Why do we agree with that? Why would we use Reinhold as an example?
Well, I mean, you could use the Denver.
Well, no. Let's use the one that you just brought up. Why would you use him as an example?
because I mean, you could say that bear mace is a weapon that could be considered a deadly. I mean, they said a skateboard was a deadly weapon if used correctly.
The guy with the
They
skateboard
said-
was chasing Rittenhouse down the street, ready to
Right.
attack him after he fell over. Reinhold crossed the street to shoot and kill the Trump supporter that had the bear mace. I don't know why we're comparing these two cases.
So in that video of Reinhold, who was the person that says we got one over here? Who was saying that?
I don't know, and I don't think it's relevant. Reinhold, he's seen. There's a video. We have video of all of this. Reinhold is walking.
But you remember that day though, right? You remember that day when they were driving around with paintball guns in the back of the trucks, Patriot Prayer,
Who cares?
Proud Boys.
Why is that relevant? I don't care. That's nothing to do with him killing.
Because when you get into the street, when you get into street activism, and when there are mutual combatants in the street, especially in Seattle and Portland, and even sometimes in our region, like Stone Mountain, you have conflicts where they do spill out from the main source where most of the congregation is, and then you have things that spread out, which is what happened in the case of Michael Reinhold. The simple fact is, no matter if it was self-defense, even if it was proved that, and even if you have definitive proof that Michael Reinhold did use self-defense, that would not have stopped 50 bullets getting put in him the very next couple days.
Because 50 bullets didn't get put in him for randomly doing a self-defense thing. The guy, first of all, he drove and he did a bunch of media interviews. Then he went back to his house, and then there are reports of what happened at the house. Now, unfortunately, we can't know what happened 100% at the house, but it's not really comparable to the Rittenhouse thing, where you saw Rittenhouse literally walk to the police and talk to them right after the shooting happened.
Do you know the identity of the person who was following Kyle Rittenhouse around with the camera?
I don't know who. There are a ton of different camera angles. So what do you mean?
Right. Well, the one that was following him around when he was going around supposedly asking everybody for it, and then there was that guy with the yellow pants that says, "Hey, that's the guy right there that was pointing the gun at us."
Okay.
You don't remember that video?
I think I do, but that's not evidence of Kyle Rittenhouse actually doing it.
But you're talking about brandishing and the right to carry a gun. Well, one, he relinquished his right to carry guns because he crossed state lines, which a lot of people on our side of the fight, a lot of people get interstate crimes.
Why do you think
We
that you
get charged
relinquish?
federally.
Why do you relinquish your right to carry a gun by crossing state lines?
Well, when it depends if you're. I mean, a felon can't do that. Can somebody
Was
who's
Rittenhouse
a
a
felon?
felon?
But that's what I'm saying.
No, that's not what you were saying. You said
right.
that when you cross state lines, you relinquish your firearms. Are these all illegal behind me because I'm from Nebraska and I brought some of them from Nebraska? What do you mean? I'm in Florida now. What's illegal about crossing state lines with a firearm?
Well, it depends if you're a person who can legally possess a firearm, which Kyle Rittenhouse was not.
Well, it seemed like he was. That was ultimately the determination of the courts.
So he was 17 years old and he could open carry a firearm past curfew.
I think he was 17 years old. The way that the particular law was written around the type of rifle you could have, I think, was ambiguous at best, which is why they ended up throwing out that charge. Also, technically, the gun didn't cross state lines. He picked up the gun there, but I don't know if that's relevant to any of this argument.
But that's the whole point. Is crossing state lines is you could argue shows intent. Like
Intent
if
to
I go-
what? What was his intent? Intent to what?
Well, based on his intent was to protect property that wasn't his, which anybody.
Okay, and
can
if the crime was he killed somebody protecting property, well, then we'd be having this conversation. But that's not what happened, so it's not relevant.
But you also admit, I know you admitted in the video also that you don't really know what led up to him getting chased either, correct?
What do you mean? What led up to him getting chased? Or what are you asking me?
Well, I mean, because he was with his militia buddies, and one of the guys that even turned on him saying that Kyle Rittenhouse was kind of acting erratic and not within the organized structure of the militia that was there. There was a few boogaloo, there was a few other just rogue
Don't know if
militiamen.
that's true or not. Don't remember any of that in court.
Okay, well, I mean, the guy testified.
The
But
guy
he-
testified in court that Kyle Rittenhouse was acting erratically on that night prior to the discharge of the firearm. That he
Well,
what?
he said he was not acting within the structure of the organized. Like, that's why when Kyle Rittenhouse was chased, where was his militia buddies at?
Sure,
That
that's a
tells
separate.
me-
Yeah, you just made a separate statement. Now, if you're saying he wasn't acting and he wasn't along with the other militia people, I think I remember that testimony that he was like working on his own. He was doing his own stuff or whatever. But
Right.
sure, but that's a fundamentally separate claim. Nothing there is wrong or bad.
No, but that's what I'm saying. What happened in that time frame from when he broke away from his militia buddies that was together, when he broke away from them, and in that time frame there is a huge gap between what happened between that time and when he got chased.
Okay.
It could be argued, and no, there is no definitive proof that he did something that would cause someone to chase him. But logical reasoning would lead you to believe that people aren't just randomly chasing a guy with a gun for no fucking reason.
Wait, why not? The first guy that chased him, didn't we literally have video footage of him randomly screaming like the N-word and saying shit like literally that same night? We wouldn't believe that that guy would also be like violent or would start chasing down another dude that he sees carrying a rifle?
But what? So Kyle Rittenhouse was just the lucky guy because there was a bunch of guys you could have chased with a rifle, and you telling me that Kyle Rittenhouse was just the lucky one?
Okay.
Wait,
hold on, wait, hold on. I didn't understand how ridiculous what you just said was, okay? If there are 15 people with rifles and somebody goes to chase one of the guys, are you going to say, well, is he just lucky that John got chased? But if it was David, you'd say, well, is David just lucky that David got chased? Or if it was like, Isaac, is Isaac just like, well, yeah, I guess he just happened to be the guy in front of him. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean? It's not like there's one, guy to chase down every single guy with an assault rifle. Yeah. I mean, what is the argument there?
It's just because it goes along the same lines that he was also the same guy earlier that night who was told by many people and identified as the guy who brandished weapons at him while they was in their car.
No, he wasn't.
And if you want to show...
Wait, who testified that in court? Nobody said that in court.
No, I mean, but there was a lot of witnesses that didn't testify in court, because when you get into that realm, like there's a lot of people that don't go to that level.
Oh,
and
well, that sounds like that's their fault. If they didn't go to court to testify, then it's their fault.
But then the argument is like, well, there's legal and then there's the moral case. Like, I mean, you have the legal argument, which, I mean, that can be stacked, and we know historically that right-wingers have pretty much, the leniency and the side of the state on their side. Like that's just the way it is. Like
that's why 1,000 people are getting charged or indicted and convicted in this January 6th shit, is because the courts are stacked to favor all of them. Or
like, okay, all right, if the roles were flipped and let's say Trump had won the election, do you think any of us leftists would have been able to get within 6 blocks of the Capitol? Much less get right.
Didn't you guys literally get within the Capitol when Trump was there, when he was president? Wasn't there a whole thing about him running into a bunker because his photo ops were getting fucked up by protest? Didn't this literally actually happen? What you just suggested as an absurd hypothetical as part of like recent U.S. history?
But that was a few hundred people. That wasn't a few thousand.
Okay, so you can change this to be as like pedantically specific as you want, but the hypothesis you just gave, or the example you just gave, literally happened, and yeah, nobody got fucking killed or wiped away.
The government response to right-wing groups and left-wing groups is identical.
Is it identical? No, but the situations aren't necessarily identical. But I mean, like, I don't know. What do you mean? Like, the government literally identified white nationalist groups as having as being some of the largest threats to the United States. So.
But again, that could be stated. But again, you have people within the government who are very sympathetic to that same cause. I mean, so yeah, you have
people in government that are sympathetic to every cause. I mean, what do you mean? What's the...
I doubt there's very, very few government officials or people within government who are sympathetic to socialist or leftist.
Oh, socialist or leftist stuff? Maybe not, sure. But I mean, like, that's like not even many people in America are sympathetic to that. That's a super minority opinion.
But exactly, and which again goes to my argument that when it comes to us, when it came to Charlottesville, when it came to Stone Mountain, when it came to all the Louisville, Kentucky, when it came to a lot of the actions that we took in combating Nazi groups that were organizing us from 2017 up through 2020 and the beginning of 2021, we experienced a lot of things that right-wing groups didn't get to experience. For example, I don't know if you know about the American Renaissance.
Nope, don't know about it, don't care. How does any of this relate to Rittenhouse? What part of it was unfair? What part of this was like a stacked court or trial, or what part of this wasn't right?
Well, I mean, anybody that watched the trial can definitely tell that.
I watched the entire trial from start to finish, including parts apparently that you missed about evidentiary stuff, like why that character evidence wasn't submitted, by him making the conversation outside the CBS you didn't know about. So I've seen every part of this trial. I watched the whole thing. So tell me, what part of this was unfair or stacked? I think you're just unhappy with the outcome because you don't like his political affiliation. The fact that you defend Reinhold, who's a piece of shit, who should have died, well, not by the cops there, but like that guy was an actual subhuman fucking loser. I don't know why you would defend him in relation to Rittenhouse, who got chased around by a screaming sex offender, with another guy behind him who fired the first shot. And you're trying to draw a comparison here between these two people, and then you draw a comparison that the police treated them differently. Of course they did. Rittenhouse marched to the police as soon as the things happened, and then he went home, and when the police called him, he literally turned himself in immediately. Reinhold went around doing media interviews to let all of the other socialists like jerk tongue into their own fucking mouths, and then stood at his house and supposedly did a last stand against the cops. Now I don't know if that's true or that's not true. There's some conflicting testimony. Maybe the cops did kill him at his house. That might be true, and if that's true, that's bad and that sucks. However, the way that these guys both treated the situation was completely differently. So I'm just trying to ask you, what is the part of the Rittenhouse trial or any part of that you thought was unfair, whether the court system or the police mismanaged?
I mean, just by watching the parts of the case that I watched, maybe I'm not it's hip on the case as you are. Watching the judge, what he allowed, what he didn't allow, and what he. I mean, there was a lot of discrepancies in how the judge would allow certain things for the defendant, and then the prosecutors was denied. I mean, there was a lot of different.
Give me a piece of evidence, or give me something that you think was like materially like determinative to the outcome of the case. Like, what's something where you're like, this thing happened, and like I think that this would have changed the whole court case. Yeah.
That one, the one guy that was testifying, who I guess it was argued that he was he was posting pro Rittenhouse things, and so when they was, I guess the prosecutor was I guess testing his credibility, and the judge had to call the jury out of the room because he asked, I guess, if his publication or if his website was right-wing leaning or left-wing leaning, and that wasn't allowed to be shown to the jury. Do you know which part I'm talking about?
I understand which part you're talking about. The reason why the judge closed that part is because the prosecutor had specifically asked him if he was allowed to go down that line of questioning prior to the presentation in front of the jury, and the judge had explicitly told him that you're not allowed to do that.
Wow.
He said you're not allowed to do that, and the guy tried anyway. That's why the judge called the jury out and screamed at the dude and admonished him in court.
Right. No, but why would the judge, like, because judge discretion, they can choose what is allowed and what's not allowed.
Yes, but you have to make arguments for why something is allowed or why something isn't allowed.
Okay, well, according to you, why would that line of questioning not be allowed?
Typically, I'm not a criminal lawyer specialist, but typically, character evidence is not admissible in court because we don't want to be in a world where if you said or done like mean or bad things in the past but haven't committed a crime, that can be used to impeach your character, impugn your character in front of a jury. So, for instance, let's say that I go to a protest and I get in a fight with somebody and end up killing them or whatever, and somebody's like, Stephen Bonnell got into a fight and he killed this protester. Well, here's a clip of him on his live stream 2 years ago saying, God, I hate left-wingers. I hate left-wingers so much. I hate socialists. I wish they would all die. I wish they would get deported from this country. You can't bring all these clips back and go, look at how mean look at all this shit he said in the past. Look at that. This guy must have been a fucking murderer, right? That's not fair. I didn't commit any crimes. That was my First Amendment right. Why are you allowed to attack my character like that in front of a jury when you can't have any evidence that I've actually been committing a crime or whatever, right? Like, I think generally that's why character evidence. Now, if there's like direct character evidence, something relating to like the actual victims or the actual like specific act itself, maybe. I think it depends, but yeah.
Okay, you said the specific act itself, so you would say that if somebody, let's say person A, is standing outside of an establishment and they see protesters, rioters, looters, whatever outside, and they video themselves saying, man, I wish I had my gun and I could shoot them, and then 2 weeks later that ends up happening. Like that, you telling me that wouldn't draw a state of mind?
If that's what ended up happening, then maybe it would, but that's not what ended up happening. It was a self-defense gun usage. It wasn't killing somebody who was standing outside of a piece of property trying to set it on fire, or killing a rioter or looter. It was a self-defense gun use.
But okay, so here's another thing. So the judge said that you couldn't call, like in the trial, you couldn't call the victims, but you could call the others arsonists, looters, and rioters, right?
Because I don't think that was material to the case. Whether they were or weren't arsonists, rioters, or looters, whatever, it wasn't really relevant to what Rittenhouse did. You're still not allowed to kill somebody who's a looter. But the problem is calling somebody a victim implies that you had no right to self-defense. So that was like literally, materially what was at stake in the court case, were these people victims or were these people aggressors?
he said it was a loaded. He even wouldn't allow the term alleged victims because he said it was also the cousin to that was his quote. He said calling them alleged victims would be a cousin to calling them victims. But yet, because he said it was too loaded, it didn't say anything about. He didn't quote anything of what you just said of why you can't say that. He literally. But then he went on to say that yes, you can call these arsonists, rioters, and looters, even though nobody that night that he was talking about was charged with such a crime. So that wasn't loaded.
I don't think that anybody being a rioter, arsonist, or looter, I don't think any of that it was relevant or material to the case. Like, that wasn't part of why Rittenhouse shot anybody. It wasn't part of his calculations for anything. Like, none of that was relevant. So addressing the rest of the protesters or whatever as rioters or arsonists or looters is not relevant to the case. Calling somebody a victim, well, if you're a victim, then by definition, tautologically, you're not allowed to be killed because you're a victim. That means that the shooter's in the wrong, and that was what was at issue in the case, I imagine. Let's say that I grant all of this, though, and I say, oh, well, that wasn't fair, I guess. Materially, does that change the court case? There's some missing piece of evidence that if we would have just called them victims, maybe the whole case would have gone a different way? It sounds like you're just arguing for, like, a different outcome of the jury, but, like, materially, this isn't actually changing any of the facts of the case that I think pretty clearly demonstrated self-defense gun usage.
I don't put too much weight on the case itself because I'll be honest, whether he was found guilty, not guilty, weighs no difference in my mind on how I convict him morally or on the from the outside of the league. I don't use legality to determine my moral guidance.
Sure, I think that's totally fair. But what did he do that was immoral?
What did he do that was immoral? I mean, you could say that him throwing up, white power signs with Proud Boys and had a shirt that says "free as fuck" on it. But yet.
Hold on, wait. I'm sorry. Hold on. I think my thing lagged for a second. It sounded like I said, "Can you give me an accounting of every single thing that he did wrong?" And it's like, that's not what I asked. I said, what did he do relating to the actual court case, relating to him shooting those guys? That was like immoral. What did he do there?
Fleeing the scene, not dropping his weapon whenever he realized. Like, here's the thing.
Hold on. Wait. Point by point. He didn't flee the scene. He literally walked to the cops immediately.
Okay, look. If you shoot somebody in the act of self-defense and you know that this one guy was the threat, okay? So if you see this one guy as a threat, you don't see the people in the streets as the threat. You see this one guy chasing you as the threat, and you neutralize that threat, regardless if that's self-defense or not. I would argue that it would be a strong case to say that was self-defense. I would even grant that. Because you have one guy on video chasing somebody, you don't know what he could do. He could take your gun, he could shoot you, he could do whatever. When you neutralize that one threat, you get on the phone with your friends, say, I just shot somebody, and then you take off running back into the crowd. Like, now you have put it in everybody's mind that you are now an active shooter, because they don't know. Nobody in the street.
Yeah, he went to the police to turn himself in. You think he should stand there around the crowd of people that hate him, that start to chase him down with like skateboards and guns? Why would he stand in that crowd of people that he knows are all antagonistic?
Okay, then why not just start shooting at everybody?
What, because thankfully he was. I didn't say he could shoot at everybody. That wasn't my argument, because he was responsible enough not to identify every single person as a threat and shoot everybody. He just ran to the cops, which is what you probably should be doing.
But that's what I'm saying. If you neutralize a threat, and because there wasn't a group of people running at him.
How does he know that the people around him aren't all going to start saying, like, he shot and killed him, get this guy? Why would you stay there? You're increasing the threat to everybody by staying there. Why would you not just go?
With a gun. Like, nobody would say, look, that if you're not running with a gun and you're standing there, like he was at the beginning, he went around the car and everybody's tending aid. If you drop your freaking gun and you try to render aid, or you show that everybody, you put your hands up. Say,
why the fuck would you risk that when, like, at least two people behind you just seemed like they were trying to kill you?
But it wasn't two people.
It was at least two people. No, it was the first guy, the kitty diddler that ended up getting shot, and the guy behind him was the one who shot the pistol into the air. There were at least two people, if not more, chasing. I don't remember.
Right. I mean, I would say more like on the moral basis. One, just me personally, him being a right winger is immoral to me.
That's fine, but you can't kill somebody just for being a right-winger. I think that every single person who did that Chaz shit should have had the feds roll in and kick them all out and kill them if they wouldn't leave.
I'm not saying that, but here's the thing.
But that's not like, I mean, like, just because you don't like something doesn't mean that, like, oh, you can kill them. So I'm not asking you I'm not saying, like, what do you agree with or what do you disagree with? I'm just saying, like, what did Kyle Rittenhouse do that night in regards to his conduct that we thought like rose to the level of somebody should have attacked him, that he deserved to be attacked or kicked or beaten up or whatever. Like, what did he do that night to earn that? Just being a right winger?
No, simply the fact that he was identified multiple times through the night that he had brandished weapons at other people before.
Well, those people, unfortunately, my dude. Well,
here's the
but you
thing,
can't. I can't do that if you don't have any evidence of that. How am I supposed to contend with that? Those people should have been witnesses for the state. Why didn't they go to court? If you don't go to court, nothing you say matters. It doesn't mean shit. You're just talking shit.
Well, I mean, again, there's what's in court, and then there's what happened that night. Like, there are many crimes throughout history, that are happening today, that are happening and very immoral things that are happening that won't make it to court. It doesn't change them.
A witness can go to court and say something. If you saw something, go to the state and make yourself available as a witness. Why would you not do that?
Well, I mean, from my understanding, I feel like all of the footage of that night should have been admitted into court.
Most
correct?
Uh,
of it was, and nothing showed Rittenhouse brandishing a firearm. You can't link me a single YouTube video right now showing me Rittenhouse brandishing a firearm because that footage doesn't exist.
But you had multiple people identifying him as doing just that. Not anybody else. Not the bigger guy that
I don't believe that's. I don't think that's true. Whatever you're saying right now, I don't think that's true. I'm pretty sure most of his like activity for the night, like where he was and everything, was more or less accounted for. I don't remember all these people identifying him as having brandished a firearm.
Do you have the video of the guy in the black guy in the yellow pants?
I don't know what black guy, yellow pants. Okay, yellow pants, Rittenhouse, brandish.
It's in your Reddit. It's in the Destiny Reddit. There was some people talking about it, but I tried to find the video. I mean, it was on my old phone. I don't have it. I screen recorded it. I screen recorded a lot of shit from that night. But I mean, if you can find it and just listen to what the guy in the yellow pants said, he literally even mimicked what he did when he had the gun. He even said, "This is the guy that was pointing guns at all of us while we were sitting in our cars." And then guess what Kyle Rittenhouse did? Kyle Rittenhouse starts walking away very fast when he got called out on that.
Okay, I think I might remember what you're saying. Did this guy testify in court?
No.
Oh, then I don't give a fuck. Why would I care?
Why? I mean, why is that your bait? Why is that your standard?
Because when you're talking in front of a judge, because when you go to court, because when you get deposed, you're saying, I believe what I'm saying so strongly that if you think I'm lying, arrest me. When you say shit to the media, what you're saying is, I hope fellow retards listen to what I say and they fucking vibe hard with it. And I don't give a fuck if it's true or not. I don't give a fuck what you say in front of a camera. Look at what Giuliani says in front of a camera versus what he says in front of a judge. No, of course not.
I don't think if he even went to testify and testified that that guy he pointed to Kyle Rittenhouse from the witness stand and said that's the guy that was pointing guns and brandishing at people. I don't think it would have changed the outcome.
You don't know that, and also listen. Then that's your own fault. If you don't want to participate in the court system, you can't really cry if it doesn't work for you. Of course,
but
you need a witness. Like that's direct evidence.
Yeah, but again, the video itself is the evidence. The video wouldn't be any different if it was inside a courtroom or outside.
Yeah, but there's no video evidence of him brandishing a firearm.
But again, there is evidence that that people identified him as the ones that were doing it. Like I don't know why
they should have testified in court. They should have testified in court.
But do you admit that there's like it's kind of like where there's smoke, there's fire, kind of like the standard there, like
where there's smoke, there's fire, maybe, but when there's 50 million cell phones and there's smoke, it's probably just smoke. There's so much video footage of that night from so many different angles that like the defense or the prosecution hinged their whole argument on like the grainiest like 5-pixel FBI cam that they could fucking find. I don't remember any witnesses, credible witnesses, or any witnesses at all testifying under oath in court or during a under oath deposition that Rittenhouse brandished a firearm. Just some losers on YouTube.
Yeah, but again, that's what we was talking about earlier. There was also that the time from when he broke apart from his militia buddies and started getting chased. There's 50,000 phones recording, but then there's somehow no footage of that. So there's footage. I mean, there's non-footage of things that happened that night that there'll never be footage for.
That's fine, but I mean, like, how do we believe any of it if the guys aren't even willing to testify in court? He's not even willing to do it under oath. Why would I believe what he's saying?
But his testimony to me, like again, outside of court, his testimony to me was him right there on camera, not even knowing that this would be a big case. Like it's not like he said this after the fact. Like, oh yeah, that's the guy that did. He said this before the shots even rang out and before the crime.
That's fine. Then why didn't he go and testify in court? If he saw that and he was sure about it, why didn't he go testify in court?
But here's the thing. I'm not going to be, like, especially as a white man, I'm not going to tell a black man that he should go testify in court.
Why? It sounds like he's being a fucking retard. Why would you not tell him to go testify in court? If he saw something, why wouldn't you say, go to fucking court and testify against this dude?
Because he probably knows that there's a bunch of freaking white right-wing militia motherfuckers that would absolutely threaten the fuck out of him and his family.
Really? That didn't stop anybody else that actually was part of the case from testifying? The people that died were all white. It seems like Rittenhouse is only shooting one color. Like,
well, what they call the jump kick, man. If he would have got, if that bullet, instead of, you know, if it was 2 inches to the left, it would have took him out too. So then there would have been a black victim. So then what would the argument be? Like, he shot at a black man, he just missed. I mean,
wait,
yeah, the guy
hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. It's been a while since I read this. I thought that the guy that he shot and missed was Gross Skirts, who he shot the bicep because he had pulled a gun on him. I thought the other guy that he shot, the skateboard dude,
the guy before he shot Hubert, before he shot Hubert, there was a man that jumped on him, like tried to literally stomp kick him in the upper part, and he that was the one shot that Kyle Rittenhouse missed, and it missed probably by a few inches. I mean, if you watch the video, you'll see the big black guy literally. They call him the jump kick man because he's also not
did Rittenhouse even shoot at that guy, or did Rittenhouse just miss the guy, or did not? I don't remember.
He shot and he missed. I don't know if it was an accidental discharge, but again, that's how close. I mean, you were literally inches away from there being a black victim.
Gotcha. Okay, but what did that black victim do besides being black?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, the argument is that, you know, he shot all the victims were white.
Well, no, my argument was half facetious because you're implying that your black friend is too scared to go and testify because he's going to be killed by white nationalists. And I'm pointing out that's a bit ironic given that every single person that died that night was white. And now you're saying there could have potentially been a black victim. Like, you're countering my facetious or half ironic argument. But, like, sure, let's say even if that was the case, it wouldn't have been a black victim because the guy was testifying against Rittenhouse. It would have been a black victim because he jumped up and tried to kick him in the face. Is your friend planning on assaulting Rittenhouse, or are you just planning on testifying in court? Because executing like a state's witness would be a pretty fucking big deal. It'd be pretty wild to just assume that would happen.
But again, like, the people that were going after him, like Anthony Hoover, everybody that was chasing after him, they wasn't chasing after somebody who, in their mind, their state of mind, was not defending himself. In their state of mind, he was an active shooter.
Okay,
just kind of like
and they made a bad calculation and they paid the price for it. I mean, what do you want me to? What about it? Like, maybe they were justified in chasing him, maybe, but he was justified in defending himself.
I mean, think about all the things, like, I was in Charlottesville. Think about all the things that we've seen in Charlottesville. We're not going to go testify to, but it happened.
Okay, then don't testify and then just get killed by white nationalists and go cry about it on social media, I guess. I don't know.
Well, I mean, but what is the courts going to do for you?
The courts are going to hold people accountable. That's what the courts are. We're animals without courts. That's the whole point of having a court system. And what do you mean? People have been held accountable. There was that in Charlottesville itself, the one guy that ran into the fucking girl or whatever. Didn't he go to jail or get convicted of shit for running into the girl? I mean, you've got the whole January 6th set of convictions. Like, why are you pretending like people that are white nationalists? I'm just reading about this whole Gretchen Whitmer case where it was all fucking, I'm pretty sure these are all white people. Like, why are you pretending like white people never get in trouble in court? That's such a retarded thing to think.
Because on the grand scale, they don't.
On the grand scale, they don't. What about all of that whole weird Chaz shit and the other stuff where you had like these whole sectioned off neighborhoods and shit where kids were getting shot and stuff, where these people eventually just kind of walked and it all disbanded? I mean, isn't that an example of socialist or far lefty people not being held accountable?
I mean, historically, we know COINTELPRO and modern day J-Trig tactics are widely misapplied.
COINTELPRO is before I was born. Why the fuck are we talking about this?
But nobody knew what COINTELPRO was when COINTELPRO was going on. Like, that's the whole point of it. You don't know about it until it's, I mean, it morphs into something completely different. Okay,
so then fight against it in the courts, expose it. That's like the whole point. Go to court and fight it. What's the alternative? What is the alternative? Do you want to just like lay down and die, or just not do anything, or what?
Well, I mean, I think we all know that we're on the cusp of something very grand that court system or a judicial system is not going to be able to.
Who's on the cusp of anything? What do you mean? We're not on the cusp of anything.
So you think everything's just going just hunky dory according to, like, you don't think we're on the brink of mass revolt? Like for
No.
example, if you think January 6th is just like, if you think if Trump loses again, you think they're just gonna go quietly into the night?
I think most of them will, yeah.
You think most will?
Yeah.
I like your optimism.
Well, if we're using Jan 6 comparison, if they don't go quietly in the night, then I hope that our federal police or our state police will hold them accountable if they try to do weird shit like they have been doing for January 6th.
I just think we're too splintered and polarized for court systems and the judicial system to, especially when it comes to J-Trig and the joint task force that they're employing.
That's fine, and you can feel that, but you're hinging on a case where the boy was clearly acting in self-defense. Everybody's watched the footage. I don't even think you disagree that the first shooting was self-defense. It's not as you defended that. And then your comparison was Reinhold, who was a subhuman piece of shit who stalked a Trump supporter through the night to try to shoot him, and then ran away, gave media interviews, and then hid at his little donkey house when the feds showed up and killed him. Like, I mean, these are like the worst cases ever that you could draw for comparisons. And you're trying to say that because of this, because I didn't get the outcomes in these two cases where, like, one guy was clearly fucking up and another guy was, like, clearly acting in self-defense, the court system must be broken? These are, like, the worst examples in the world.
But that's the thing. I don't hinge anything on outcomes of court cases. I don't. Like, Casey Anthony was also found to not have killed her baby.
Sure,
like,
we're not hinging them on the court cases. We're hinging them on, like, the facts presented in the court cases. You're hinging everything on, like, some dude in yellow pants, apparently the only guy in the world that had the ICC Rittenhouse brandishing a firearm at a passerby or group of people in a car. And nobody else that night was apparently willing to testify. So if you want to say, I don't want to participate in the court system or whatever, I mean, I guess that's fine. You're just, like, you're ceding all that ground, then you're always going to lose, and no justice is going to be served. And yeah, I don't understand the point. It just seems very defeatist and dumb.
I agree. I think everything's dumb. But I'm pointing to the double standard outside of the court system, how things are applied. Like, we know that charge stacking is one-sided. We know that typically in the court system, if you don't have money, you know, and I'm sure you know Kyle Rittenhouse had a whole bank full of people donating to his. I mean, but that's the thing. Like,
what do you mean? Hold on. How many? I'm curious. I don't actually know the answer to this. But if we were to go on GoFundMe and we were to look up historically who's raised more money for their cases, like left-wing people or right-wing people, there's a lot of really stupid right-wing people. I'm sorry. There's a lot of really stupid left-wing people that have raised money for cases as well. Like in the, I don't know if I would count this as left-wing, but the donations definitely came from left-wing. I can think of two things right off the top of my head. The black guys in New York City that tried to jack the bike from the nurse lady or whatever, didn't they raise a fuck ton of money on GoFundMe?
I'm not familiar with that case.
Okay, what about the one where there was the, I think a family was on TV crying because their black, I think it was a black son, got killed by police. And then later on, what came out was that this guy was trying to break into the house of his ex, and then the police showed up, and he got in a firefight with them. I think after shooting into the house a couple times even, and then got killed by the police. Didn't she raise more money than the actual victims in that case?
Was that a political case? Or was he a left-winger?
I'm not saying he was necessarily a political case, but I'm saying in terms of like, was Rittenhouse a political case? Like, it was a self-defense case. I mean, like, it's all kind of political, right? It's all thrown up as like BLM or black issues or white or liberal or whatever. Like,
hypothetically speaking, if someone who is an anti-fascist, activist, organizer, like somebody, I'm not talking about no neoliberal, Occupy Democrat type. I'm talking about like a left-wing, self-prescribed or self-described anti-fascist willingly goes to a right-wing action, and we know that right-wingers have no problem at the very least chasing down leftists. I'm sure you saw a lot of videos of Antifa getting beat up, getting chased in Portland. Like, I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos of that. Are you telling me that if I was in Portland, or if I was in any right-wing action, Patriot Prayer action, and we're in the courtyard and some right-winger or some Patriot Prayer or Proud Boy starts running at one of us, we can just unload on him? Like, if I'm not mistaken, didn't Tiny get shot in the ankle or the toe one time? And guess what?
First of all, and also, yeah, if this happened, you would be able to, right?
But the guy that shot Tiny got in trouble.
Who's Tiny? Who's Tiny? What is this?
Tiny Too Easy. He's he's one of the Patriot Prayer. He's one of Joey Gibson's henchmen.
I don't even know what I don't know what the name. You have to spell this for me. I don't know what you're.
Tiny Toese, T-O-E-S-E. Tiny
T-O-E-T-O-E-S-E.
And look at when he got shot, who he got shot by, and what happened to the person he shot.
Tiny to okay, hold on. He got sentenced to 8 years for violence at Portland rallies.
Yep.
So he was a Proud Boy.
Yeah, but before he got sentenced, and before he, when he got shot in the foot, when he got shot in the toe.
Okay.
What happened to the? I mean, because that was an example of right wingers attacking leftists, and a leftist shot one of them. And what happened to him?
I mean, it sounds like he was sentenced to 8 years in prison for violence at Portland rallies.
So was Tiny sentenced, or was the guy that shot him sentenced?
This is Proud Boy Tusitala Tiny Tuzi. He was sentenced to 8 years. Who shot him?
No, this was, he got shot a year prior to that. Is there? Do you not see any articles on when Tiny was shot in the foot?
Let me look. Shot in foot.
I mean, there's video footage of it and everything.
Link me a video.
Let's see.
Or tell me on YouTube what I can search for to find one.
Let's see. Yeah, here it is. It's Thunderstruck Media. Yeah, here it is. It happened on September 4th, 2021 in Olympia, Washington.
Okay, Portland Proud Boys leader Tiny Tozy shot by opposing group at WA Clash.
Yeah.
Leader of the Proud Boys shot in the foot. Large numbers coming on. Near Joe Times bleeding from the ankle after 5 gunshots rang in the mid-afternoon hours. Local police taped off the scene of the inner city transit mall, according to footage. Medical personnel. It wasn't immediately unclear. Fired the shots. The right-wing Proud Boys have been pursuing a group called Antifa, a left-wing movement, in the minutes before the shooting. And a statement on city officials, remember the opposing group that reduced their handgun up fires for Tuesday. The statement does not identify him by name. The shooting happened right after verbal altercation. That's another community shares my frustration with behavior. The violence said Olympia City. Work together. Cooperating with authorities. I think it's not life-threatening. Okay, what is the claim you're making here?
That there's obviously precedent of right-wing groups, and I've been on the street when it happens. I'm just wondering, do you believe, I mean, even with that precedent right there, that we are given the same benefit of the doubt of self-defense? Because I mean, there's a case right there of self-defense, and the guy that shot Tiny was charged and convicted. Can you show me what was the guy's name? I do not know. I don't want to dox any of my.
If he's been convicted, then what do you mean he's already done? So it's gonna be public information, right?
Well, yeah, but I'm not gonna be the one to give it. But I'm just saying, like, so.
Well, no, hold on. You can't just say. You literally are giving me evidence. So I'm trying to look this up, see if this is what you're even saying is true.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I'm gonna let you look it up. But I'm just saying that that is a case where Proud Boys or Patriot Prayer is, and it even says pursues Antifa. So, I mean, pursuit means that you are willingly engaged in trying to attack your political opponent. Now, I'm just saying, we don't have that same benefit of the doubt when it comes to using firearms in the case of self-defense.
Bro, this was not a self-defense gun usage. Are you crazy?
Why not?
Your friend is insane. Somebody should have put this dude down on the street, bro. This guy opens it with a fucking handgun in public and starts shooting at people, what, like at least 10 or 15 yards away? This is unhinged.
How is that unhinged? Like, they were literally pursuing a small group of anti-fascists.
Yeah, they had plenty of distance between them. They were like totally out. Like, these guys weren't even like running after them. They were just like fucking walking around. It looked like one of the dudes, they were holding signs.
So your argument is proximity then. So
proximity is part of a self-defense argument. Yeah, of course. What do you mean?
So, but I thought self-defense was just if it's reasonable in your mind that you are under threat, that your life is being threatened.
Yeah, part of under threat is literally like imminent harm. Yes, that's part of what under threat means.
Yes. So again, if somebody's chasing after you, or if there's a big group of right-wingers that are coming after you and they're known for using violence, can it not be then perceived that your life is in imminent danger?
Let me understand this. If your friend shooting here would have killed all 4 of these people walking back there, you think that would have been self-defense, and you think it would have been justified to kill all 4 of those people back there?
But I'm asking you.
I'm
So we're
asking
talking
you that
about
question. If he
self-defense
killed
and
all
him-
4 of these people, you think he should have walked on self-defense?
But that again.
Can you answer that question? If he killed all 4 of these people, I'm not asking hypothetically. This is like what this situation happened. I'm saying hypothetically, if the shots would have landed because he shot at all of them. Let's say that he shoots, and let's say he would have killed all 4 of these people back there. You think he should have walked?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, that's unhinged. Okay.
Again, self-defense doesn't go by proximity.
You're dead wrong. You're dead wrong.
Okay, then what? So what is it? 5 feet? 10 feet?
Well, it's whatever when a reasonable person. Well, for the child molester guy, it was when he was literally touching Rittenhouse's gun, and then for the other dudes, it was what, probably within 5 feet. Yeah, one guy was literally right in front of him with a skateboard. The other, I think, Grossberg literally was right up in front of him with a pistol. So, and aiming a gun at him.
But do you have a duty to retreat?
In a public area? I think you do.
You have a duty to retreat in a public area.
I believe so. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe so.
Okay. Well, I don't follow the proximity argument because I don't believe that there's a definitive how many feet or how many yards someone has to be from you.
Okay, so if somebody says he's gonna come beat the shit out of me, okay, and he's walking from a friend's house, I can grab my rifle, zero it for 300 yards, and like headshot this guy from down the block, and that's self-defense.
Well, I mean but that's not what happened.
Hold on. No. You just said that you don't factor distance in. I'm asking you, do you really believe that? You really don't factor distance in? Guy's 300 yards away, okay? I'm like squinting down my 4X scope to shoot this dude. You think that I could shoot this guy from 300 yards away? From blocks away, I could shoot the guy.
How many dudes are there? Is it
one
like
guy?
2 of you? Is it 2 of you and 100 Proud Boys? I mean, because then you could argue that, yeah.
Well, I don't know if that. I don't think that supports your argument, because at least in this footage that I'm seeing here, I see, assuming these guys are on the same side, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Looks like 16 Antifa people who are being chased by 3 or 4 Trump people.
I mean, in that video, yeah. I mean, but there was obviously way more Proud Boys, and I mean, I don't think that you could ever find. You'd be very hard pressed to find any videos where Proud Boys are outnumbered by Antifa at a Patriot Prayer Proud Boy gathering. Anywhere that Tiny is, especially. But again, if you see what Tiny had to do in order to, because Tiny's been in legal, under legal scrutiny for years. But what he's had to do to get to that level, your average leftist would not even be able to jump the first hurdle. And
I disagree, and I don't think you've demonstrated that.
Well, it's good talking to you, Dustin. Good talking. We'll talk again soon.
Apparently this guy's been arrested multiple times when we found his... That guy's like an actual terrorist. Ugh. Don't let peaceful hearings happen.
Good evening, everyone. President Trump has called Antifa a terrorist organization, and many blame the group for damage during protests in Nashville and across the country.
So what is Antifa? Investigative reporter Ben Hall questioned a local Antifa activist.
Do you support violence?
I support self-defense. Self-defense, it comes in many shapes and forms.
29-year-old Corey Limley's Facebook page urges people to join the anti-racist movement Antifa. The group often takes a militant approach to protesting. Limley is pictured burning a flag on the night protesters set fire to Nashville's courthouse. With the post, "I was afraid Nashville would not live up to this historic moment. I was proven wrong."
What did you mean by that? You were afraid Nashville would not live up to this moment. What did you mean by that?
So Sam, yes.
Take part in the fight against that the entire country and many parts of the world are taking part in right now.
Limley says he and others with Antifa were protesting that night, but says he did not set fire to anything but that flag.
Is it okay to set the courthouse on fire?
I personally, my standards on what is acceptable and what's not does not matter. People will express anger and outrage in whatever way they see fit. This is way bigger than the courthouse, and if we allow ourselves to box ourselves into talking about the courthouse, are we ever going to talk about the bigger issue?
He says the bigger issue is systemic racism. He's been in the news before, marching against white supremacists in Charlottesville.
I was in Charlottesville with a large Antifa network.
He's such a lightning rod. When video surfaced last week of a man allegedly paying protesters in Columbus, Ohio, some on social media incorrectly believed it was Limley and urged President Trump to have him arrested. He and others from Nashville did go to Louisville recently to protest there. Last year, he was arrested for disorderly conduct at Montgomery.
How do you have these like professional activists that can like drive around and protest everywhere?
Bell State Park.
Especially when you're screaming about Rittenhouse, like crossing state lines.
Protesting a white nationalist
Hey, big
conference
buddy.
there.
We put our bodies in front of the park.
Wait, what's up?
Oh shit, are you busy?
Give me 2 minutes. Hold on. Let me just finish this.
Trying to keep.
Oh, also, I was being facetious when I asked if he's a professional activist because I know how he can afford it. It's because he sells cocaine and fentanyl, apparently. But listen, whatever you have to do to fund your hustle, baby.
Nazi attendees from getting in the park.
Unlike others with Antifa, he does not cover his face. He says Antifa, which is short for anti-fascist, has loose networks across the country.
There is no Antifa organization. There is no Antifa meetings. There are groups out there who have banded together to confront white supremacy and fascism in all forms.
He sees recent protests as an opportunity for real change. On the day after Nashville's courthouse burned, he wrote, "You will not get peace until we get justice." And riots and uprising keep the system in check. These will continue until injustice no longer exists.
They will express frustration and rage however they see fit. We can't control it.
Are you stoking those flames, though?
I am stoking a fight to change the system. And that fight will happen when I'm long gone.
Limley says dramatic change has never come from peaceful protests.
How does bashing
Not
into
true.
windows on small businesses help advance your cause?
Disenfranchised youth are out in the streets right now who do not care about politics, who do not watch the news, who have been feeling the system, who have been victims of the system.
He says those responsible for damage in Nashville were acting out of their own frustration over racial and economic injustice. He says he's never met those who police have arrested so far for setting the courthouse on fire. Metro Police Chief Steve Anderson has not said if organized groups were responsible for the violence.
They need a scapegoat, and they want to deflect the topic from racism and white supremacy and their own ideology and turn it into property damage.
A Metro councilman says Antifa should pay for the damage to the Metro courthouse. That has gone nowhere. Nashville.
All right, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, man? Listen, I just wanted to have an opportunity to give you some language as a teaching moment on the Rittenhouse stuff. Sure. Can you Google for me FRE 404?
Is this the character evidence stuff? FRE 404. Character evidence.
Go to B.
2B? Or, oh no, B. Okay, I see.
Just
Other
B.
crimes,
Little
wrongs,
B.
or acts. Okay.
Yeah. So this is the evidence that you're allowed to bring in terms of like prior bad statements, prior bad acts. You're not allowed to show it that it's just to prove that you have a bad character and that you acted in like accordance with the bad character. So you can imagine in Trump's cases, right? I'm not going to be able to show
The grab
all
him by the
horrible
pussy
stuff.
for the documents
Yeah.
case or something. Sure.
But then you look at permitted uses, right? The evidence may be admissible for another purpose, not character evidence, such as proving motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, plan, knowledge, identity, absence of mistake, or lack of accident.
Yeah.
So all the prior bad statements of Trump will be able to be used, probably
Relevant to
in
the
terms of-
particular
it's relevant,
crime.
exactly.
Yeah.
So to show that he had the intent to do what he wanted to do on January 6th, all that stuff, right? And then you notice under sub 3, there's a special provision that in a criminal case, the prosecutor has to give reasonable notice of that evidence. So that's why there was pre-trial hearings on this situation and about whether or not you can bring up that particular statement from Rittenhouse. But if you can imagine if Rittenhouse had said something like, I can't wait to go and get to one of these protests and brandish my firearm because I can't wait to like cause some problems and to get a to have some problematic response and provocation so that I kill someone. Imagine
Sure.
something ridiculous like that.
Sure.
That might be like evidence of an intent, preparation. Absolutely. But here, maybe it's a closer case. And remember, it was Wisconsin law, not necessarily federal rules of evidence, but it's the same kind of idea that there's not as close of a nexus. So that's it. How you doing?
Pretty good.
Good, all right. Do you have a big discussion with Greenwald?
I don't know. I'm waiting for Eli to confirm it. I was going over the, I've almost read the summary kind of the Whitmer case thing today.
Do you imagine that's going to be talked about a lot?
No, but like right-wingers always bring this case up as being like evidence of how the feds are and how this whole case was basically fabricated by them and the people that were arrested, none of it was fair, blah, blah, blah. So it'd be good because everybody references the Whitmer. I think he even did it on the January 6th debate. I think Greenwald brought this up. What about the Whitmer case? Yeah.
What I would love for you to do, wait, can you not hear me? Is my mic bad?
It sounded not of like the highest quality, but it sounded fine.
1 second. What I was going to say is, what I would like you to do with Greenwald, if you have the patience or if you care to do it, pin him down on some of this stuff. On the insurrection thing, like, this should be an easy slam dunk for you. You were almost there when you were talking with him before, but those people interrupted you. Get him to, like, have there been any insurrections? Can you point to any single insurrection in history other than the Civil War? Get him to commit to a definition. How would you define insurrection? Do you think anyone should be charged for classified information? And if so, when? I think that he is very shifty and he won't give answers. In the times in that debate where it was most effective, in my opinion, or what I wanted to see most, is when you made him sweat and you pushed back and you were like, well, what would you call it if Pence had been successful? If Pence had been successful, would you have called that a coup? Or would you say, and then you said something really brilliant, you were like, would you say, like what you're saying now, the Supreme Court should just work it out with respect to the disqualification? Though I think that if you like focus, I think on getting straight answers and simple questions, you can really pin him down, because his tactic, I think, is to move to the broad.
I was gonna say, my thing now when I've been arguing with people is usually blocking the whataboutisms. Like, I'll let people, we can talk about Hunter or we can talk about Hillary if they want, but I want them to concede every single thing on the current issue we're talking about before we move to another case. And if they're willing to concede everything, okay, yeah, Trump did steal documents, he did do it with intent, that's fine, I agree with that. But now I think that Hillary did it. Okay, as long as you're conceding all of that, then we'll talk about another case. Because what I don't like is it always gets into the weeds on something else, but they haven't, because in my opinion, not in my opinion, what's happening, when people do a whataboutism, because there's a good faith way to do a whataboutism. A good faith way kind of do a whataboutism is, hey, I'm worried that you're establishing a principle that you wouldn't even come close to adhering to that's going to be damaging if we agree to it, right? So if I say, I should be able to shoot that guy because he's black, like, okay, well, what about, this guy that wants to shoot this guy who's Asian? It's like, that's horrible, right? Obviously. But when they do whataboutisms, I think that the goal is always obfuscation. I don't think they care about hypocrisy. They're just trying to escape the facts of the particular case that we're talking about.
No, I totally agree with you, but they're going to argue on that first thing what you just said, which is, I'm not doing this as a whataboutism. I'm doing it to show that your standard is absurd.
I understand, but the first thing that they need to concede, and people miss this when they talk about a whataboutism, is they don't admit that the first case that we're talking about violates my principle. They think I'm fabricating evidence or that I'm not even applying it in a fair manner. If they're willing to say, fine, by your definition, I guess if anybody concocts a plan to circumvent the electoral process and then threatens to send fake information to the DOJ, fine, we can call that a coup. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. They're like, now what about Hunter Biden? Okay, cool. As long as you admit all that, that's fine. Now let's test my principle. I'd gladly talk about the Hillary Clinton. But I don't want them to say, okay, hold on. Anytime somebody challenges an election or doesn't like it, okay, well, what about Russiagate? Then you jump into that. No, fuck, bullshit. You need to concede on every single point if you want to move and talk to another case first, because none of this is in good faith.
It starts with making them concede on the facts. So if you have to get him to say, like, do you agree that Joe Biden fairly won the 2020 election? And because he said something absurd, which was, I think he said there was election meddling, right? Or that there was, what did he say specifically about the Newsweek article?
An intelligent person would say, I think even Barr said the same, that like the election wasn't rigged, but it was
rigged.
stacked.
It was
Or it wasn't like
he said it was rigged. I think.
Kind of,
he said
yeah.
It was rigged.
But the way that Barr talks about it, I would agree with actually most of what Barr said. With what Barr said, because I think what Barr said was Democrats were constantly campaigning and doing everything they could to play in their favor. They hyped the fuck out of absentee mail-in ballots, and they told everybody like, make sure to do this and blah blah blah. And the Republicans fucked themselves. That's what Barr meant when he was in that interview. And he said, I think that they kind of rigged it in their favor, something like that, but not that like election stealing was happening.
And you have to concede him on the other, right? So if you're like, okay, if you want to call that rigging, you're saying that spreading lies in the media, this is with respect to like Twitter and stuff, you agree that that's rigging. So you agree that Donald Trump, by that definition, spreading lies, you agree that he spread lies, right, Glenn? And then, but that's the thing. You have to get him, I think, on those base facts. Do you agree that Donald Trump spread knowing lies to the people? And by your own definition, then that would be rigging.
Sure. But I
be on offense. You should always be on offense. You should always have the conversation in your grasp.
Yeah, that's another reason why the whataboutisms are nice, because then it forces you to defend every other fact about a thing when you, and it moves them off defense. Yeah.
That's one of the reasons why I think that you might disagree, but when I have a conversation with you that's very combative, or if I'm on one of these panels, I, like you saw on Kick or Keep, I feel like I'm always on offense because I can dictate what we're talking about. I know where I want to point to, and I know what I'm going to press on. I don't usually get that way if it's like a one-on-one conversation and it's more open. But I think when you're dealing with someone like Glenn Greenwald, you need to have a plan and strategy and get to your points and know where the pressure points are.
Yeah, I think the pressure point. I truly think that for these arguments, it's incredibly easy. Like the pressure points are just don't let him move off of the thing to other cases. So the number one thing that I'm going to be looking at is like just know whataboutisms. Or if you want to talk about somebody else, that's fine, but you need to concede on every point that I'm bringing up against Trump. Or if you disagree on the points about Trump, then tell me what you disagree about. Don't instantly go to whataboutism because you don't want to fight on any of the facts about Trump. Yeah.
Another one I might ask is, would you be okay if the Supreme Court ruled that Trump was disqualified? And if the answer to that is
I think I asked him that. I think because didn't they say something
They
about
cut
that where
you.
they were like, oh, like Biden got shot down by the Supreme Court, or well, the Supreme Court decided this, so it wasn't okay. And then I think I asked afterwards, oh, so if they keep him off the ballot, would you agree that that's okay? Yeah, but I don't think I got an answer.
It was beautiful, and I feel like everyone missed it. I feel like everyone was focusing on the Alex Jones conversations. There was a beautiful moment. You were like, essentially going down the line of what would happen if Mike Pence had actually been successful. And you're like, well, I assume if he had been successful, it would have gone to the Supreme Court, and then it could have been legal then. And he kind of like shrugged his shoulder. And you're like, okay, cool. So you agree that if disqualification then goes through, that it's okay, right? But you didn't have a chance to flesh that out and pin him down because you had people.
Because I wanted to walk through like because the point of like, and honest to God, you might be, but I'm not married to the word coup, or I'm not even married to insurrection. I'm not married to any of these things at all. And I would ask Glenn, okay, fine, it doesn't have to be a coup, but like, would you be okay with this, or what would you call it? And then whatever word you use to call it, we can agree that that's what Trump did. And then that it's bad, that it shouldn't be bad. Whatever you want to call it, a procedural coup, a soft coup, a self coup, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it's obviously bad and horrible. And I don't think any Democrats ever tried it. Or what are the standards that you're setting? Yeah, that's the. Yeah.
And the proof is in the pudding. I mean, there's a whole label for bloodless coups, for self coups, and so I think that terminology is really important, and we should never. Like, you should go into those conversations with a definition of insurrection. Like, do you agree with this definition of insurrection? Why not? What would you define it as? And the truth is, they do not want to define these words.
Of course
It's like
not.
my conversations with Rob Noor. Because as soon as they
or I think
have
even with all three of them, because I was asking, can somebody else give a definition of insurrection if you don't like peace goes? And then we had like I think a Merriam-Webster dictionary definition. Like,
and it turns out that definition is broader than mine.
Yeah.
And the truth is, the minute that they give a definition, you can start attacking them with examples, and you'll be like, oh, so under your own definition, this the fucking LA riots weren't an insurrection. But like, you have to commit them to positions like you did for this guy. The guy they just called about about Rittenhouse shit, where you're like, you think it would be justified for
a guy to shoot and kill if he would have shot and killed all 5 of those people? Yeah, and he's like,
so I just want to be clear. You agree? You think distance does not matter for justified self-defense? Can you say that? Like, those moments are the most powerful, and if you push him, it's so simple, I think. But
yeah, because this case is like, everything for Trump is so over the line. Yeah. Like, it's not even like oh God, this is gonna be really challenging. Like, how can I say that Trump, tried to? It's like so over the line. Yeah. Thank God, because Trump is such a great guy when it comes to laying out clear evidence of wrongdoing, in probably a more blatant manner than anybody in the history of like doing these types of crimes. Jesus.
The other aspect, though, is he's a person who has a commitment against the use of the Espionage Act, which is the thing that was been charged with Trump because he was involved in the Snowden shit. He helped reproduce those documents. And so an easy question is like, oh, do you think that there should never be any classified
Yeah, that would be, because my
documents
question would be, because when I looked at the underlying charge, I was like, oh, okay, well, what part of this do you think shouldn't be like a criminal offense? Do you think anybody should be able to do this? Or, yeah.
Wait, do you think states should be able to classify information and make it a crime to violate it? Yes or no? And if he says no, okay, you're insane, right? You're insane. Then there should never be any classified information, because then all he has, right? If you strip away the sordid history of the Espionage Act and its application to like communists and the attempted application to Julian Assange and Edward Snowden, put it in brackets whether you think it's justified there, because I think a lot of people do think it's justified there. Then you're just left with an absurd position, which is states can never classify or declassify.
Wait, when you're saying states, do you mean nation states or can like
nation states?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
There is no such thing. States can't classify information, can they? Right?
Not that I'm aware of. No.
Okay.
Maybe. Hang on. Someone could tell me. I have no idea about that actually.
Never heard that before. That'd be crazy. Classified in the state of Nebraska.
Can you imagine?
That'd be wild. The corn secrets that Iowans would never get to know about. Fucking losers.
No, that's it.
Wait, hold on.
Yeah.
Do you think that the no, they did. Never mind. No, I don't think anything. Okay,
that's cool.
Yeah. Do you have any opinions about the Whitmer kidnapping plot thing before I continue reading?
I think that there, like, stings are possible, and it can be a crime. Like, we would never look at situations like where you're setting up a pedophile. Right? Have you ever seen To Catch a Predator?
Yeah.
Where a lot of these times these are like really good things. Like sometimes they're unethical in how they're done because they're not done in coordination with law enforcement, or they're done in a way that they can't bring charges. But I think everyone agrees that like we can do stings or we can have informants. And there's this notion that like you have a right not to have informants or not to have be talking to feds at all times. Like,
well, kind of careful. That's like the weak, I won't say strong. That's like the weak argument. The strong argument that they make, or the stronger form of the argument, is they say, well, if there are informants there and the crimes are happening, the FBI is basically condoning it to make Trump look bad, basically, or something like that, right? Now, for the J6, that's the claim. For the Gretchen Whitmer thing, they're saying that these guys would have never done this, but the FBI basically forced all of them into this plot.
Yeah, but that's why we have the doctrine. That's why we have that doctrine, and it requires to like. If you were apt to do that crime anyway, right? Like if we go up to someone and be like, "Hey, I have a bomb. Like, do you want to be part of a plot to blow up the World Trade Center?" And someone's like, "Yeah, sure." You're like, how is that entrapment? I mean, it's literally, and there are different states about whether or not different states have different laws on whether or not that can constitute a conspiracy if it's just with the officer, but especially if there's like a bunch of people who are dangerous and who are willing to have a criminal end, regardless of whether or not like there were ever any fuses in that bomb or anything.
Oh wait, I didn't realize this. I never thought about this. Does a conspiracy need a co-conspirator indictment?
It doesn't need an indictment, but it needs more than one person. It needs a meeting of the minds. It's
can a state
a police
person
officer
be a co-conspirator?
That's I think there's a split there. I think some states allow that and some don't.
Gotcha.
But you can understand conspiracy is a mental crime. That's why it's charged so often. It's a meeting of the mind. Now you need to prove that with some overt acts.
Yeah, mental in one step, right?
Yeah, no. The crime itself is the meeting of the mind. So Trump's.
Well, but you have to also take. Don't you have to take
overt acts?
Yeah.
There's certain things that have to evidence it. But like, so that's why, Trump's crime isn't necessarily the speech. Trump's crime isn't his First Amendment activities. That's evidence of the criminal meeting of the minds, which is to deprive people of, fill in the blank here, their right to vote, to defraud the states in terms of the fraudulent electoral scheme. So there needs to be some evidence in the real world to prove that meeting of the minds, but it is a mental crime. So I think that like you want police officers, you want the Department of Justice to be looking out for bad guys and to stop things before they happen. And if these people were willing to hit, and I think most of them were convicted. There were some retrials, some acquittals. So what? Some people were convicted of serious crimes.
Yeah.
And they're gonna call, whether or not there were acquittals or convictions, they're gonna call it bullshit no matter what. And it's just a tactic, I think, to delegitimize the Department of Justice or authorities, which they already hate anyway. So I don't take their criticisms to heart, because I think that, like, no matter what, they'd be calling it bullshit, even if there were all convictions. They just want to delegitimize these institutions. That's their purpose.
Yeah, of course.
But good luck on that.
Yeah, did you see this Trump Truth Social post? The President of the United States must have full immunity, without which it would be impossible for him or her to properly function. Any mistake, even if well-intended, would be met with almost certain indictment by the opposing party at term end. Even events that cross the line must fall under total immunity, or will be years of trauma trying to determine good from bad. There must be certainty. Example, I love the example he gives. Example, you can't stop police from doing the job of strong and effective crime prevention because you want to guard against the occasional rogue cop or bad apple. Sometimes you just have to live with great but slightly imperfect. Why would he use police as examples when police are literally can be subject to criminal prosecution?
100% they can be. Remember, presidents do have absolute immunity, but it's not absolute immunity for crime, right? It's absolute immunity for certain actions, for civil damages. That's where in the scope of their duties, you can't sue the president for passing some regulation because it hurt your business or something. Sure. And cops have qualified immunity, which is, if they act within some amount of range of acceptability, you can't sue them for damages either. But cops are fully subject to criminal law. You know, they might have some laws that allow them to speed, right, or to disregard certain laws, which are like themselves, I guess, carve-outs in law. But there's in other, like, they can murder people. Cops can kill people, and they have before. Have you ever seen? I don't know if this was JCS or something else, but there was like a serial killer, either military guy or cop from Canada or something. I think I watched it. Like, these people exist, and it would be insane to say that, like, cops are subject to absolute immunity, let alone the president. You can say, and you can argue, and the Department of Justice does argue, that a sitting president is not subject to indictment while they're sitting president. And you can, you know, do all the ridiculous hypotheticals for a sitting president, which we can talk about. But he's still subject to the criminal law. He just can't be indicted at that moment. He can still be investigated. There's none of this, like, gamesmanship at the end of their terms, or if they're removed, they still have the incentive structure of, listen, my term ends in 2 years, and the minute I'm out, I can be indicted for what I'm doing. And so it's very, very different. What they're arguing is those hypotheticals are absolutely legitimate to bring up, and there's no textual basis for it. There's zero textual basis to assume that there's absolute immunity for the president. These people who are all supposedly textualists and originalists, you would think that if they were having some actual legal argument, that they would cite specific text, but all they can cite is, like, the impeachment judgment clause, which applies to all officers of the United States.
Yeah.
And the logical argument from that is, if your basis for claiming absolute immunity is a clause which applies to every single officer of the United States who's subject to impeachment, then it stands to reason that every single officer of the United States has absolute immunity, because the impeachment judgment clause by itself applies to all officers who are subject to impeachment.
Yeah.
But there's, like, no basis to think that that's the way it is. Like, imagine if the Attorney General could, like, kill anyone they want, and all these type of, like, they've always been subject to crimes. So yeah, it's insane, and Trump's insane, and the arguments are obviously self-discrediting, and he should be ashamed to bring it up. But it's going to delay the trial in Washington, and it may even push it past the election.
Yeah, which is really scary. But
yeah, enjoy your readings, my buddy, and DGG, stay cool.
yeah, have fun, big everybody.
Later.
That those who think We must move on from the idea that those who think I'm pro-Russia, those who think I think China should kill everyone in Taiwan or whatever, or those who think that I fly around in private jets, those who think that I've engaged in sex trafficking of minors, you know what I mean? Like there's a degree of things that people are very upset about, and they're all equally insane, in my opinion. And it varies from things that other normal content creators would do that no one would even think twice about, but when I do it, it's completely unacceptable, all the way to straight up lies, all the way to, bastardized positions that make it seem like I'm the exact opposite of what I actually believe in, all the way to like insane, actionable, like legally actionable defamation. A multitude of all of those, concepts together create the overall air of toxicity that those who think.
If he's so mad about all of this, and he's so mad about how much it gets mischaracterized, then why not go on other shows and fight people that are mischaracterizing you? It's so funny because he has all the tools to fix his shit if he wanted to. I get mad when people mischaracterize me. The reason why I get mad is because when they mischaracterize me, they normally won't talk to me about their mischaracterizations. That's what makes me mad. He has the opportunity to talk to or go on any show or go on any platform that he feels like characterizes him unfairly, but he won't do it. All he does is strawmans and attacks like the worst representations of those arguments. He's his own fault. He has nobody to blame but himself. But, okay. Paul Beller, who was arrested in Colombia, we read this. Brian Higgins. Okay. FBI informants and agents. Defense attorneys have argued that at least 12 informants and/or undercover agents of the FBI were embedded among the suspected planners. The FBI has acknowledged using 3 informants and 2 undercover agents in their investigation. Dan Chappelle, nicknamed Big Dan, an Army veteran who served in the Iraq War, he has stated that he joined the Wolverine Watchmen in 2020 after finding them on Facebook, wanting to keep up his firearms skills, but contacted law enforcement after seeing the group's radicalization. After becoming an informant, Chappelle became the group's XO, or executive officer, the second highest rank in the group, and then its highest ranked officer after Morrison departed the group due to marital problems. Chappelle taught the group tactical skills he had learned in the U.S. Army, offered the group use of a credit card paid for by the FBI to buy ammunition and supplies, and in summer of 2020 spent hours on the phone with Fox planning the kidnapping. Steve Robeson, a convicted felon whose previous crimes include theft, insurance fraud, and sex with a minor, he attended 5 of the group's meetings. Various defense attorneys have stated that he paid for room and lodging for some of the group's meetings using government funds, including the June 2020 meeting in Ohio where the kidnap plot was hatched. And Jenny Plunk, who knew Robeson before becoming an informant and who attended many of the same meetings as Robeson, she was entrusted by the FBI with, among other things, keeping Croft within the group's good graces after some members of the group became frustrated with him. Which one was Croft? Control F. Croft. Was Barry Croft. Oh. Wait. Oh, one of the ringleaders. Agents. Mark Schwiers, an FBI special agent who went by the name of Woods while undercover. Are you really allowed to do that? What's your undercover name? I'm just gonna stick with Mark, okay? I feel like I have a lot of Mark energy. He made secret audio recordings of both Fox and Croft. Timothy Bates, an FBI special agent who went by the name Red while undercover, he pretended to have access to bomb-making materials. Timeline of events. Initial investigations. The Federal Bureau of Investigation reported that they became aware of group chats on social media in early 2020 threatening to conduct the violent overthrow of state governments and law enforcement. A U.S. Army veteran, Dan Chappelle, had joined the group but became concerned about their use of technology that could be used to track the addresses of police officers. What the fuck? Oh, maybe like the hunting app lets you mark like sightings among friends, so maybe they were using the app to mark officer locations? Maybe, I don't know. Track the address of police officers. He informed a friend and a local officer from an unidentified police department in Michigan, who then relayed the concerns to the FBI.
Hello, it's me.
Hi, what's up?
Hi, friend. How are you?
Pretty good. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Many good things are going on.
Okay.
I have many tales to trade with you.
Oh, joy.
Oh, I have to post the cat. Hold on, the mandatory cat. I'm so glad you keep this cat. Every time I come, I post the cat. Just a moment, that's very important. Okay, alright. We can begin.
Okay.
I'm going to YouTube on Tuesday. I'm going to talk to their live product team, and I'm doing a keynote there on simulcasting. And I thought of the most successful person at multi-streaming that I know and came to see him. So there are a couple things that I want to get from you, if it's okay. The first one is kind of like your experience from multi-streaming.
Okay.
And also if there are things you would improve, particularly about YouTube's UI, because I'm actually talking to people that can make a difference in that.
Gotcha.
If this is a boring request, I can just leave.
No, that's fine.
I don't know
give
what,
me, yeah, give me something. So, give me a little bit more of a specific question. I can talk.
Okay. You grew a lot by multi-streaming. I think no one has benefited from it more than you. And when you did it, it was because of necessity, kind of. Like, you got banned on Twitch, and then started on YouTube, and then you started streaming at the same time to Kick, right?
I got banned from Twitch. I started streaming to Kick. I'd already been streaming to YouTube. Yeah, correct.
Okay. When you broadcast on Kick, on YouTube now, is there a period of time, or was there a period of time before where you were also broadcasting on Kick and other platforms at the same time?
I tried triple streaming sometimes, and I've done some triple streaming stuff. Oh yeah, I also streamed the Rumble for a bit too. That's right.
Right.
But I think generally I try to do 2 streams at once usually. Past that, it seems to be a little chaotic.
Okay, and did that work for you? Like you've grown an immense amount in the past couple years, and
I don't know if it's because of multi-streaming, but multi-streaming is, I mean, it's nice depending on the platform, but yeah.
I think it's more because of your consistency with your YouTube videos and just improving the narrative.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to kind of just basically I'm trying to figure out. I ran a poll. I'm trying to find out if multi-streaming is worth a shit. That's my outcome here. Basically, I'm looking to try to find out if you are a content creator who's starting, and the logic makes sense because why wouldn't you start on multiple different platforms? Because if you have a total amount of discovery, right? Let's say you can get. Well, actually, I know the data. So supposedly it's 50% of medium views come from Twitch, 25% come from YouTube, and 25% from other platforms. So if that's the case, then why not stream 3 or 4 places to get all that potential viewership?
Yeah, I don't really see a reason why you wouldn't. I really don't know. Other than inability to keep up that many chats.
Yeah, the people that are gonna be so there's 2 other people talking, and both of them are not for multi-streaming, and their argument is that multi-streaming, how do I word this? It divides your community. So your people live on DGG. They live to some extent on YouTube chat.
YouTube chat, yeah, kind of.
Yeah, but they live on DGG, I think, right? Where does your community or Discord?
Well, I mean, now,
where does your
communities can also live on Discord as well, right? Yeah.
So would you agree that multi-streaming would divide your community, or do you think it's a matter of bad marketing because people are not funneling them to a proper place?
I feel like if you think about this, I feel like it can go a lot of ways. So the first answer would be that multi-streaming is bad because multi-streaming divides your community. And okay, multi-streaming is bad because it divides your community, okay? But there are a couple of key challenges to this. So one, when you say divide, it doesn't really make sense. Are you saying that if you've got 100 viewers on YouTube and then you also start streaming on Facebook, are viewers from YouTube gonna go to Facebook? So I don't know when we say divide, do we mean divide or do we mean you're just going to have spread out fan bases? Because those are two separate things, right?
So these people, and they're big content creators, and so they're going to have like as much weight and authority in this talk as me. And I think their argument is as follows.
Yep.
What if you have 10 people in a Twitch chat and 5 people in a Kick chat, 2 people on TikTok, and so on. You talk to Twitch chat, then like TikTok, Kick, and everybody else feels like they're not being addressed, feels like they're not part of the community, and leaves. And so then that causes a sort of ripple effect, magnifying effect, and then all the people that are in your Twitch chat are like, oh, well, there's like no community, and the whole community is like...
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I was saying, that's why I was saying, so we got to say, are we dividing our fan base? Because divide is like a active verb, like you're cutting your fan base into pieces. Or do you just have like a spread out fan base? Because there's different problems associated with two of these. I don't agree with the divide thing that much. I don't think that's a real thing. But the spread out thing, that could be a thing for a very small content creator or a very, very small to medium sized content creator. Where if you've got like 50 viewers if you've got like 50 viewers all day and you've got like 10 of them chatting and one of them is chatting in one stream and 2 of them are chatting in another or 5 of them are chatting in another or whatever, that like responding to different communities / people might make the others feel left out, right? That's a potential thing that could happen, right?
It is my fight to that, and I got called on that in a talk with one of these guys, and I'm gonna get called on it again. And my fight there was like, couldn't you just say, oh, like Destiny from Kick says, and then you're like, done? like that.
You could, although the viewers won't be able to chat with each other, right?
Oh, true.
That's one issue.
Yeah, that's true.
However, but then the question is, here, I think this would be a bullet counter to that. This would be my guess, is that my response would be, if you sincerely have 10 viewers, okay, let's say that you could have an 11th viewer in another streaming service asking you questions. Is your chat really moving so fast that you're taking away from the stream by answering that 11th viewer? Chances are you're probably dying for engagement at that point, right? So having another guy in an 11th viewer on another streaming service, that's probably helps everybody. And the people in the other chat room will probably start talking about that topic as well. Number one. Number two, if you kind of, well, what if the chats are moving sufficiently fast such that like it's actually starting to compete for attention? Well, at that point, like all of your streams are so big that you're not spreading your community so thin that it's negatively impacting them anyway, right?
Yeah. Okay. Our data on Novo's side shows that people that don't, this is like a crazy thing, people that don't interact with their chat actually usually do better overall. There's a bias here because a lot of larger broadcasters don't interact with their chat at all because they don't have to. But it seems to be like if your focus is on making a show, so let's say like with you, I just tuned in like for the last like 20 minutes, and you're talking about some crazy shit past my head, as usual actually. Some guy shooting a guy or something, and you have a show, you have something you're doing, like you're. And I think you're like in the middle of reading something, so like that's a show, and that's not your content is not contingent on your chat, whether they're there or not. It is not really doesn't really matter. Sometimes it can add to it. So shows that do that are absolutely the best. So relating that back to multi-streaming, maybe it just doesn't matter. It's just like if your content is literally just calling out people in like Kick chat and TikTok chat and then like Twitch chat, you like your shit anyway. You know what I mean?
Well,
and, like,
not shit, but like I can understand that a lot of content might not revolve around like the interaction with the chat. That could be the case, but in that case, who cares if their community is spread out? Why does it matter then if there's just different people in the chat? How are they taking away from anybody?
That is my argument. So you would agree with that? Yeah.
I would agree that in that scenario where you're not like, for instance, if you're like depending on the type of stream you do, why the fuck would you interact with chat that much? All you really want to see is like the wall of emotes, and you really only need like 15 people to do that anyway. Like if you go on any major streamer's chat, it's usually like less than 20 viewers that are contributing to 95% of the chat spend. Usually half of them are mods. So why would that even matter?
Yeah. Okay. All right. So same page there. Okay. Yeah. It's just to say that people that tend to do like these shows and they think of their consciously or unconsciously, they think of their stream as like a show. They do better. Like I kind of unequivocally know that now with like the data.
They do better. Yeah, although be
they
careful.
They grow faster.
Be careful. Yeah, when we're saying do better, what the markers for success are, it's important probably to qualify that. So, for instance, people that do shows and don't interact with their chat, I guarantee you that their on-platform conversions are probably very low compared to like the 150 viewer streamer that's like constantly talking to chat. It might
like
be that
subscribers,
whatever the on-platform conversion is. So that might be subscriptions or donations. The people that do the shows might make more money or even have a higher conversion of all viewers because they're monetizing them off-platform. So like having a Patreon or whatever for your podcast or whatever. But I'd be surprised if people in the chat that weren't being interacted with would donate as much money on-platform if there was like no recognition there.
Okay. Dude, conversion is a really interesting conversation. Like we've like analyzed so many hundreds, probably thousands of sponsorships at this point, and it is some crazy shit, man. There is no rhyme or reason to that stuff. Like, we'll go. At first, I thought like, okay, well, if I go get like a girl with like 2,000 viewers, she'll convert better than like this dude who like doesn't talk to his chat. It's so fucking completely random on YouTube too. It just makes no sense.
Sure.
Like,
it's not
some
random.
people
It's that there's probably a lot of variables at
There's
play.
so many variables. Yeah. A big part of our job is trying to figure out what those variables are, particularly for like YouTube and TikTok. And I think we're getting closer, but it's mostly just a shit show. You just have to run a lot of ad budget against it and try to figure it out.
Yeah, because I imagine for literally every single individual product, there's going to be like really good arguments like for and against. Right? Yeah. Because even if we try to conceive some rules, like if you advertise a product that is something relevant to what you do, then you'd imagine that would give you a higher conversion. So if I were to sell PC parts versus toothpaste, I'd probably get more people buying PC parts because it's not identical. But I could totally see that you do an ad run like that, and what actually happens is a person who talks about computer stuff a lot, they actually have a highly technologically computer part engaged audience. They're not really following advertising as much. They go to like benchmarking things. So when you try to advertise particular graphics cards to that crowd, they don't give a fuck about the graphics because they're highly informed, and they actually would buy way more toothpaste because they don't give a fuck about the product. Oh, my streamer buys the the Rugrats toothpaste. Oh fuck it, I'll buy it. Sounds cool or whatever, because they don't care as much. So I could totally see there being like weirdly like inversely correlated advertising. That seems like it would be a nightmare to try to figure out.
Yeah, it is, and then like especially the actual call to action and the way they say it also matters a fucking ton.
Sure, yeah.
So like they'll be like, yeah, like we're sponsored by this. Like half of the streamers and YouTubers are actually dog shit at CTAs, and they're like, yeah, I mean, you could buy this shit. I don't really care. What the entertainers money to talk about this.
Yeah.
And then some people are like, my life was fucking changed by this product. I love it. It's amazing, and it's totally like that's one of the really obvious ways that you can increase those conversions.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sorry, on the multi-streaming thing though, so when you use YouTube and your users use YouTube, are there problems that they're running into or you're running into over and over again?
For YouTube, I mean the biggest issue is going to be your chat features and the lack of persistent chat. Those two things are like killer.
Okay, can you tell me more?
Like the fact that every time I shut my stream off, like the YouTube chat is deleted, and then there's like a new URL for another. Yeah, it's not persistent. Yeah.
So it's like not ongoing, like there's no way for it just stops existing until you stream.
So if I turn my stream off for a kick, I go to kick.com, just into the chat room. The chat room there all the time. Oh, that's
huge.
Yeah, but on YouTube, it just shuts down.
Do you think there's like a community on your YouTube, like there is in like BGG?
Yeah, I see the same guys over and over again. Yeah, I enjoy my things on YouTube for sure. Yeah, but they just don't have a place to. Maybe they go to Discord after. I don't know where you guys go.
Oh, if you had to point to one place your community to live, what would you say?
Probably my website or Discord or my subreddit or my
That's
YouTube comment section. Oh, well, I mean, it depends on what type of community engagement you're talking about. There's like different types of.
How so?
Well, like for instance, I've got like a whole group of people that are super active on Discord that probably aren't active in my chat. I've got a whole bunch of people that like watch YouTube videos pretty frequently, and maybe a big overlap of them also like comment on my Twitter, but they don't actually ever watch my live stream. They've never been to any of my stream chats before. Yeah, there's like different community. If you're Pokemon, right? She has especially for a lot of girls, you have a huge active fan base on like Instagram, but it basically doesn't translate at all to any other platform because on Instagram people just kind of like looking for pictures and stuff. Yeah, so I mean, it just depends. My community lives in a lot of different areas, I think. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the chat thing is actually fucking huge. Yeah, one of the problems was like, their live product team was like, yeah, we're gonna meet with you for like 2 hours and like try to implement like some of this stuff, and I'm like, I don't use this product. I was like, oh shit! Like, I'm totally fucked up. I'm trying to go around and talk to a bunch of people that use it to actually do it. And like, okay, so chat doesn't persist. That makes sense. And then features, you're basically just referring to like stuff like Better Twitch TV and stuff like that. Or
I guess so, like emotes
kind of
that like why can't I don't think you can go to like Dr. Disrespect's like stream and use my emotes. Like that stuff isn't possible. All the YouTube chats are like on their own URL with every live stream that's also in its own URL. Like it's just like navigating that is kind of a nightmare. Like there's no like persistent like live page on YouTube. Like I can't go to youtube.com/destiny/live and have like a landing page. I don't think.
Do you mean like a directory?
No, like there's no like I don't have like if I want to go live, I can't tell like I could say like twitch.tv or twitch.com/destiny or kick.com/destiny. Wait, no, it's twitch.tv. Sorry. But on YouTube. I can't do like youtube.com/destiny. Wait, do they have a live Destiny? Oh shit, never mind. I'm sorry. They do have a live landing page now. My bad. They have a live landing page, so they fixed that. But they don't have like I don't think you have a persistent chat. That's like a different one.
It is? Okay.
But that's also because it like closes and everything.
That's so weird because the YouTube channel is persistent. Like the channel itself has an identity,
or
right?
It's at least like a landing page.
Well, there's also like a channel like it's not just like youtube.com/destiny. There's also like a numerical page that you can hit to go to for smaller creators that's consistent. So you could bookmark it in theory. So you're saying you couldn't bookmark a YouTube live stream.
You can't bookmark chat. You can't bookmark chat. No.
Can you bookmark the live stream itself? So if I wanted to come back to you via that mechanism, could I do it?
I think so. I think you should be able to book youtube.com/destiny/live. I think. You should be able to, right? It looks like it directs here. People are, I think people are saying no or not between streams, or half the time.
I'm getting 50-50.
I don't know why people are saying that. I think the embed URL is different. I don't know. I think if you try to go to a live channel or not live, it just goes to their landing page. Right? Or it goes to the landing page and then the live
So people that are saying that you can schedule it. This actually matters because Cake wants a webhook for when people go live. I have no idea what that means.
Probably API stuff.
But you can email me, Cake, if you like. I'm not, to be clear, I wouldn't be here if I was like talking to low-level PMs. I'm talking to decision makers that can actually like do this. So I think it's good. can keep going. Sorry.
Oh,
Let's
no.
just move on.
Oh no,
Okay.
that's fine. I was just making sure you weren't like waiting for me to say something. I'm just like ignoring you.
No,
So, okay.
I was just reading the chat. It's like you talk or I talk. Okay. No, we can keep going. Okay, so I still don't understand what you meant by like chat features.
I mean, for YouTube chat, there's no persistent chat, which sucks. So I can't go to the same chat and see it loaded or have it loaded between streams or other things.
Right, we
Just, like,
talked about
basically
that,
deletes its existence. There's like a lot of lack of like, it just feels like adding people is weird or like I can't like click somebody's name and go look at a profile.
Mhm.
Can you put timestamps in YouTube chat? Oh, you can do that now. Feels laggy.
Got it.
I don't know if there's like somebody's leaving me. I don't know if you can other people can just the stream.
The chat just consumes random messages as well. There's not a really good way for you to set like your like auto censorship policy. So sometimes like things that really shouldn't be censored are like not there. It defaults to like this top chat feature that does this, and then you can't even really get links. Like you can't set an option to get links. Oh, I'm a like fairly new streamer to YouTube. I get like a couple hundred people there and then stream. So just wanted to drop by and say it's a nightmare to use YouTube for like almost anything multi-stream.
Okay. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so there are like a couple things that consume YouTube chat and let you like fill it or like push it into a uniform chat somewhere. I use Botrix for this, and the YouTube chat is delayed. It only checks like every 10 seconds because they're taking arguments. So basically, to programmatically interact with YouTube, their stuff is either unresponsive, has unreasonable limits, or just don't work. So like what Kate was commenting on, the webhook would be like when you go live, she wants a way to programmatically subscribe to some notification that lets them know the stream went live.
Via API.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like other stuff goes, better between the two. It's almost entirely the chat. There's no animated like emotes, which is kind of crappy. I guess you could maybe argue their splits aren't as nice, right? Their membership splits and stuff. Super chats they make like a big chunk. But
Yeah, I don't know why,
really suggest
man.
anything on
I don't know why any content creator drives subscriptions through any platform. I guess like Kick makes sense because, but even then, I don't. I don't know if the gods are watching, but I don't care if the gods are watching. Even then, I don't trust Kick enough to actually maintain those subscriptions over a long period of time. So it's like I don't understand why everyone doesn't just like funnel to like a 92.8 platform like Patreon or something.
I mean, it's a lot more work. That's the issue. If I stream on
really?
Kick and Kick is giving me 100% of the money, they just have to subscribe on Kick, and they've got all the benefits listed in Kick. They get the little, subscriber badge. They get all the emotes. Like it's just right, and it's integrated to the streams right there. If I do Patreon account, I have to create a Stripe account. I need to like create all the custom tiers everything myself. I need to create either a bot or manually like reciprocate rewards. None of those things are going to organically show up on stream. But like, there's a whole bunch more work in doing that shit.
It's more work, but once that initial setup happens, you have a more stable platform. Like my question would be, are you confident your Kick subscribers are going to be there in 6 months?
What do you mean by like longevity of the platform?
Yes. yeah. Seriously.
I mean, as for Kick, who knows? But I mean, right now,
Yeah.
fucking Kick might have more longevity than Twitch.
Well, Twitch
For
is not doing.
instance, if you would have asked me 3 months ago, do I think that my Kick subs are gonna last longer than my Twitch subs? I would have said, I think the Twitch subs are probably gonna last longer. If I was Korean, I would have been wrong. So, who knows?
I think that's right about Twitch Prime. The word on the street is that's up for debate.
I also
Twitch
here's
has-
another question too that's actually really scary. If you ask me about my Kick subs, I feel pretty confident that a Kick sub is always going to be a Kick sub unless the site crashes completely. I don't even know what the fuck a Twitch sub is anymore.
What do you mean?
Looking at Melina's analytics sometimes, where she was getting like
the Turkish shit.
$4,800 a month off of 6,000 subscribers. Like, what the fuck is happening here? And I was on a partner split. I was like, this is sorry.
That is a crazy change that nobody talks about. Is that the situational theater pricing, right? What is really crazy is that that's also in place for ads, but nobody fucking talks about that.
Well,
so
I think for ads, we'll kind of assume that we expected it was whatever. 'Cause that's always been the case for ads, right?
Well, the thing is, like, if you're a United States streamer and you've never like really interacted outside of that, and then you've like the thing with, for whatever reason, okay, the girls on Twitch have like fucking huge amounts of like Middle Eastern viewers, huge amounts of like Turkish viewers, and these people, these categories like don't pay as well, that don't run ads as well. And so like yeah, like someone like Amaranth is like making a fourth of what he would make off of subs, for example. Yeah. Yeah, and that's some crazy shit. So I understand that. I think Twitch as a platform is okay. I have a take on this. I don't know. I think this is more interesting than the code talk, but I think that Twitch is like finally making the right decisions. Like the layoff for 1,000 people. That's great.
Well, it wasn't.
news to me.
It was like 400 people, right?
It was 1,000 over the last year.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay.
So the recent one was 35% of the workforce, but that was 35% of the workforce relative to the number of employees they have now. But the total number of people was 1,000 over the last like 3 years, which is shit. But like I never believed that Twitch needed those people. I like Kick has shown that they can run a platform with basically 10 to 15% of the total viewership of Twitch, and I'm pretty sure Eddie has like fucking 2 guys at a contractor. And like a janitor, or not even because it's a virtual office. Like that guy is running crazy lean. There's some disadvantages to that. Like if a payment processing issue happens on Kick, are you confident that you can reach out to someone like that? Maybe you should, right?
I mean, like probably, yeah, but I'm obviously not someone to ask. But also, I don't have an issue.
I'm just saying, like.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is like with Kick, I'm nervous.
Actually, I would kind of be shocked. If these guys can process payments for fucking state gambling. Payment for fucking subscribing to the stream, right?
So I don't know if they handle any of the money for the subscriptions. I think that could all go through Stripe and Stripe Connect.
It's possible.
So like when I want to see how much I'm getting paid, I go to Stripe Connect, and that's got the list of everything. So I'm not even sure they handle that money, right?
Yeah, probably not. Stripe is super solid until they figure out that you're doing something against the terms of service.
And then, places
yeah, but I guess it's that stability that worries me about maintaining a large subscriber base on Kick. But it doesn't seem to worry you. Like if you had like 600, I don't know how many subscribers, but if they all disappeared tomorrow, would you be like, well, that's the breaks? Like that's your mentality on it, or you don't. Yeah, but you're not thinking in terms of like longevity of platforms. That doesn't matter really. You're just kind of like right. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. If you were invited back to Twitch, which is shocking really that you're not at this point. Every time I'm down there, I talk about you. But you know,
wait, is that the end of the question? Is it if I was invited back to Twitch? Are you asking if I would like?
What would you do? Would you multi-stream at the same time to Twitch and YouTube and Kick, or what would happen?
I have no idea, but at the very least, I'd be able to talk about Twitch streamers again. I just don't even know because now that I've been off platform so much, I don't know what the moderation culture is like there. I'll probably get like destroyed. It is really nice.
I think it fucking died.
The moderation culture?
I think it died with you. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. Like what streamer over 1,000 CCDs like was on Twitch in that category?
Well, the problem. I'm gonna sound like I'm guessing, but like the issue is that like with me gone, like you have this total ideological homogeneity between all of the large political streamers. So why would anybody get banned, right? So,
no, it's not about getting banned. It's about the actual efficacy of the content. Like nothing interesting happens because of that.
Yeah, I know, but like I'm just saying, like I'm curious if I go back to Twitch, do I have to like worry about getting banned all the time?
Oh, I see.
Yeah, that was what I was worried about. I don't know if that would happen. And right now, like all the big content streamers basically suck up the sun, who's like doing interviews with attractive terrorists and stuff like that on their stream. So I don't know if like if I came back and I gave another trans take, if I would get like banned again.
I don't think the trust and safety division is of the same mentality since Clancy came on board. That's my take on. That's my feeling on talking to them. I think they're much more lenient of of that sort of thing, I don't think you would get banned again.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I do know that my last appeal, I think, got like an auto. I think it was like 2 hours, so I think it just got.
I literally think that if you were to get this in front of Clancy, he would unban you himself.
Maybe. I mean, I added him on Discord and then he didn't respond to me. He did accept my friend, I think. So.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think he's just. I think he's trying to take Twitch in a new direction, and succeeding. I think he's a very good CEO. Goddammit.
Maybe. I don't have any strong opinions on it. I don't know much about what the CEO for Twitch really does or what he's up to. But he seems like a cool guy, from what I've seen.
Yeah, he spent a lot of time trying to learn. He called us in and all the other agencies that are AOR for Twitch, and then he started talking to streamers. And he's on kind of like a campaign going around talking to streamers. And yeah, it's good. You should talk to him directly. I don't have regular. My regular at Twitch was definitely with that. So, and it's not usually about getting people. They call them stands. Yeah, because I think yeah, Twitch basically the political sphere is just Hassan. As far as
It's
yeah.
Hassan and his like groupies. So Hassan and Deno. So the 3 of
Yeah, I mean, and so I don't even know if I could call that politics because it's just one show. It's like not even a category anymore. Yeah, he was the only one to survive. When you left, like there's not a lot of actual discussion as far as I can see.
Well, because he doesn't interact with his small group. He doesn't even interact with his own groupie people. So yeah, it's kind of dumb.
Yeah, but also like there's no like real economy to support that sphere on Twitch. I think either because you can't run ads against it, and you can't. So they're probably most of it's going to get demonetized. Like the little flag that they check to basically pull ads or push them into like the nth dimension, where you just get like third tier ads. That'll happen to every one of those streams, and then you can't really sponsor them very easily.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think if you came back, a lot of people would. I think when you come back, because you will get unbanned. I'm really confident of that. But like when that happens, I think that could be resurrected. But do you take much sponsorships now? Do you have an agency?
Not really, and I don't think so. No.
What happened to the other guys? I'm not a talent agent, so I can't sell you any.
I mean, they weren't getting any. They weren't getting any deals.
Deals.
Like, this is like, what's the point now?
Have you thought about the big talent agency on Twitch right now is Mythic, but there's you could probably make, I'd say like between 80 and 90,000 a month more from YouTube sponsorships, just running like 30 to 60-second inserts with the YouTube agency.
I mean, if you want to shoot somebody my way, if they think they can make that
Yeah,
money,
I know a bunch
I'd be
of people.
surprised, but yeah.
Why?
Because I'm edgy as fuck and I don't want to change me being edgy.
You don't have to change, man. Yeah. What percentage of your videos get demonetized with yellow or red flagged on YouTube?
None of them, but that's because we know how to do the YouTube stuff really well. But if you've got like crazy activist, blue-haired San Francisco people, they're not going to care if you're getting demonetized. They're not going to care if I like Palestinians or whatever. So I don't know. But I don't know what the actual.
A much smaller demographic of advertising that is led to believe. Most people are. Like, I don't know. Those are very loud people, and they would have you believe that they control advertising, but they don't. Definitely. Yeah. What I would say to you is that if you can pull, like, if you can get these sponsors on Twitter, which I think is like infinitely worse than like the worst YouTube video that you put up. Unless you're like, I don't know. I mean, the other thing too, though. Dan said this to me at some point. Was like he said, like, I don't understand your content anymore. Because what?
He said that to you, or you're saying to me? Or
said to me that I don't understand your content anymore, which I think is true.
Wait, hold on. There's so many pronouns. Clancy said to you. That
No, Dan Clancy. No, our Dan, Destiny Dan.
Oh, okay, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay, our Dan
Sorry.
said that you, Devin, don't understand my Destiny's content anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
Jeez.
Yes, sorry.
Gotcha.
Yes,
Okay.
because it's changed dramatically. So I don't know if your YouTube videos are about like. I don't know if you say the N-word and you don't stop saying it. Like, yeah, it's a problem.
No, yeah, I don't think my
Stuff like
content has
that.
changed that dramatically. I don't think. It's gotten a little bit more popular, but.
Yeah. What happened to Dan? They're all saying
just like doing his thing.
We don't talk about it.
Why not?
He just like, I think he just like prefers to do like business stuff and be a little bit more in the background kind of, I think. Yeah.
Lost the battle.
Oh, they're memeing. Everybody else is memeing.
Okay. Okay. Maybe he moves. Maybe he thinks that it's not like businessy anymore. But I know you like business.
Yeah, no, it's just I think as things have gotten like really popular and blown up, it's just kind of like a little bit more nerve-wracking. I think being on stream.
I feel the same. Yeah, I get that. It's definitely. I try not to like look at the numbers or everything because it's like it's spooky, man.
Yeah. I guess maybe I guess if you're a pussy ass bitch.
Nah, dude, I just don't. It changes. It changes. Okay, like.
No, I know.
I'm
kidding. I know. I understand. But
I did create content, and I always wondered, like, why don't more executives like create videos and do streams and stuff like that? And I thought it was just ignorance that they don't do it because they don't know, right? But they actually do know, and they just don't want to.
Yeah.
and like now with the company I'm running and the stuff I'm doing, it makes me. It's not like a thing where it's like. Oh, fuck, I can't quantify this. But I feel very different being live. Not in a good way. Like when Train forces me to like put together the Scuff podcast and like we do it, I feel very awkward and weird. And like it feels like there's 1,000 people in a room staring at me and I'm nude and I'm dog shit. And they're like, man, fuck this guy, get him off the air.
Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Because like my head is in
on,
like
where there's like way younger audiences too. It's like
yeah, and like it feels like the stuff I think about day to day and the stuff I talk about is like not in scope or interesting to other people. It's interesting to a small niche of people, like, and we're doing so much like crazy shit at Nova now. Like our we're literally running millions of dollars of ad budget, and I think it's interesting because it's really cool where all that stuff flows and it kind of how much it controls in terms of like the thoughts and feelings of everybody. You would never think, but I don't think that shit's interesting.
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, but I don't know. I guess for you it's like an everyday thing, so you're probably way past all that shit.
Yeah, I'm interested in everything, so I don't have to worry about it.
I don't know, man.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So now I like when I talk to executives, like, oh, I do create content. They're like, fuck that shit. I would never do that.
No.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Well, I have good answers. Sorry. Should I stop bothering you now?
Well, I don't even either.
I just want to know if you're happy.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun.
No, give me a better answer.
Yeah, I'm working a lot. My work's been a lot of fun. I've got like a lot of free time. I don't have very many stressors, if any, in my life right now. So it's like work-related stuff. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Okay. Are you like exercising and eating well?
Okay, I haven't gotten back to the exercising yet. My social life has been a little stupid the past like month and a half, and I keep staying awake late. It's coming back. I just gotta get back to my work and everything else, but I've kept up on everything else.
Yeah, but like, okay, if you draw like a circle and it's a pie, and you carve out different slices of the pie, the slice of work has always been very good for you, I think. Sure. So it's the other slices that you've got to cook.
Oh, I changed my streaming hours from 1 to 9, so I'm trying to get back to 10 to 12, and then just reading, which is nice.
EST?
Yeah, 1 to 9 instead.
Okay.
So 8 hours a day, hopefully, instead of like 10 hours a day.
Do you do 7 days a week?
Yeah, but I also like travel a lot, and sometimes I go to certain places, so realistically, I'm not doing it 7 days a week. Yeah.
Holy shit, Jesus. Are you still like running a harem?
Yeah, your mom and your sister joined, so.
Dude, I saw this clip of you somewhere. And you have to keep in mind that this is in the context of like I don't watch a lot of stuff anymore. I can't. I'm like working all the time on this shit. And so I just watched this clip, and you're like, I don't know what it was about, but it's like, oh yeah, then I went to this place and I fucked 3 people. Then I went to this place and I fucked 2 people. Then I did this thing. It was a huge, and I'm like, what is this guy fucking doing?
Yeah, we call those family reunions, okay?
Like, first, what are the logistics of this? Do you have like spreadsheets? This is like EVE Online shit? How do you keep track of these women?
They have the same last name.
What?
I don't know.
Wait,
Usually, I just know a lot of people in a lot of
fucking
cities. If I'm traveling somewhere, I just message them like, "Hey, what's up? I'm going to the city. Are you gonna be there?" They're like, "Yeah, sure." Like, cool.
You have a spreadsheet.
No, you don't. You just
right?
remember where people live. I just know people all over the U.S. Right?
There's no way. Like, there's like without some, because like, okay, here's just like a casual example. You told me a long time ago that you do like careful testing, STD testing for every single person, right?
Did I say that?
Do you not do that? You did say that, yeah, of course.
I mean,
We've known
I
each
get
other for fucking
myself
10
tested.
years.
Yeah.
Not them?
I mean, like,
you said
sometimes
they
do,
have to
but, like,
submit you before any kind of sexual encounter. They have to submit you.
I think
their
sometimes I
test.
would ask like a long time ago, but I feel like at this point, like I'll get tested myself, because I think I used to do that really stringently, but then I realized because I think I had a conversation with somebody, and I think I hooked up with like, I don't remember, it was like 5 or 10 people, and they were like, oh, like, have you gotten tested? I was like, well, I haven't recently, but like all my partners get tested. It's like, okay, well, like, shouldn't you get tested anyway? Like, I was like, yeah, I guess. And then I realized like at that point, like, well, what the fuck does it matter? I might as well, if I'm gonna get tested myself, maybe I should ask people instead of like, yeah, I don't know.
Because I was thinking like you needed an accountant just for that, fucking storing all those files. I like your life. Okay, like your life is incomprehensible to me. Okay, because I'm like a single person,
Yeah.
And like I just saw that clip and I was like, man, I guess we haven't caught up in a while.
Yeah, well, listen, if anything goes wrong, I'll kill myself. So boom.
That sounds like a bad plan because you would no longer contribute to the world in the ways that you are contributing, which is important. You are singing the song of creation for all these people.
I think we do okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I just wondered, like, is most of your travel driven by?
My travel is exclusively driven by work, and then I'll just see if I know people who are employees. But I'm only able to line up.
You do. Sometimes you appear on these like podcasts now. I saw one. I don't know. It's like the question and answer interview style stuff.
Which question and answer interview style stuff? Do you remember what this was about, or what?
It was just recently. It was like some, like it just went up like a couple days ago.
Oh, Jubilee, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. And there's like a professional person that's there asking questions.
Yeah, those are fun. Sometimes when I'm in LA, I'll get like stuff like that, and then I'll do it. Yeah.
Do you have speaking fees?
Yeah, I do for colleges now, because otherwise it's just like it's a lot. Yeah, I can't like fly out, because flying out is like it takes a lot of time, and it's just like it's a lot of shit going on to just like start doing it all the time. Like I think the last year in 2023, there were like several months where I was flying out like 3 times a month to do different events and everything, and at some point I'm like, I don't think I can do this anymore. It's not reasonable for me to do it.
Yep. Yeah, you have to start charging more for those. The if there's PR companies who can put you in front of and get some pretty impressive speaking fees. Actually, I can pull the rates for you. Hold on. Your rates would be. Here it is. Oh god. No, that's not it. These are per episode. Oh, there it is. Okay. Up to $80,000 West Coast. Up to $125,000 non-West Coast. And $200,000 international.
That's way high. No shot anybody's paying anything remotely close to me for that much. Wait, wherever you're pulling it from, these are like Jordan Peterson, maybe even those are higher than what Peterson would charge. I know if the school offered Peterson something they got like 50 grand, no shot does he turn that down. I don't believe it. Those are so high.
He's regularly getting, dude. Speaking fees are fucking insane. Like a person of your influence, it is not irregular to be offered 100K for a single presentation, like put together.
No shot.
I can talk on this on great authority.
Send me like
Peterson
an
is easily
example.
making-
I'm curious. You have like send me like an example. There's no shot.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, like Jordan, for example, is like easily making like 50 to 100K for an appearance on a podcast, unless he agrees to be on it beforehand. Like that dude, like he's unbelievably rich at this point.
I'm sure he's
for example.
rich. I bet it is height.
No, like
I bet it is Apex. He was probably charging maybe 50K appearance fees at his height. 6-figure appearance fees though.
Yeah, you're probably like, okay, like this is, I see this so often where like they'll be like, oh, like we'll pay you, I don't know, like you're probably taking deals between like 5 and 20K.
Yeah.
And I just the next time that happens and you don't really care about it, just double it and see what happens. Okay, and then come back to me. I'll do you one. I'll do you one better. Think of the highest number in your head that you think is insane to ask them, and then put that number out and see what happens.
I'll keep that.
Yeah, like speaking budgets are fucking crazy, man. Your influence has changed a lot. You're like the
Yeah,
plus,
I'm aware of that. Yeah, I just 100K sounds high. Like but
it is high, but that's the world of budgets like this. A lot of the people that are putting these on are either like backed by investment firms, they're universities with huge endowments, stuff like that. I mean, dude, like when I get invited out to speak, it's pretty fucking high, and I ain't shit. I'm nobody. I just have a lot of knowledge in particular topics.
Okay.
You don't even have to be popular to get those numbers. You just have to be like well known within that circle.
I'll keep it in mind. All right.
Next time you get an offer, oh yeah, also there are PR agencies you can literally contract that will just do this whole thing for you too. You don't have to do anything. They'll just send you offers.
Yeah, connect me with one. Maybe I'll get a finder's fee.
Let me take a note. I don't care about money. Here. I will. I think I know a good one. New York based. I don't want anything from you, but your occasional time and friendship. You're one of the oldest people online that I know. You and I are one of, and also, I'll tell you this. Out of everyone I think you've talked to, you and I, it might be the longest standing relationship with no bridge burned, I think, or one of them. Top 10?
You and me are close.
Yes.
Probably top 5. I think Lycan might be the longest.
Oh, Lycan the chef?
Yeah.
Yeah. He came by, right? I saw him make you a burger.
Yeah, he did. Well, he's my chef now, yeah, so.
Wait, what? How's that work?
Pay him money to cook for me every day.
Really? That's cool. Is it like a particular type of cooking, or
whatever he wants to make? But I give him like these are generally what I want, and then he decides the dishes, and then he does it again.
That's cool. Like, does he live there? Like, does he live in your house?
He lives in my apartment building.
I see. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah.
No,
we
we never.
Food is
We never. I totally agree. Yeah, I also have. I have a different thing. I have a person that like makes meals and then sends them. No, we've never burned a bridge. We have never burned a bridge. It hasn't even been like a break up and get back together thing. Always been friends.
That's good.
It's easy if you just don't want to fuck over people. I don't know why so many people do that. Well, actually, you know what it is that we have a really cool situation because I don't think either of us really truly wants anything from each other. I feel like a lot of people problematically in like the popularity sphere, they want viewers, they want clout, they want attention, things like that. And the business I work in doesn't really benefit you either. So we just have this kind of chill thing.
Yeah, probably helps.
Yeah, that's neat. Okay, anyway, I'm probably boring the fuck out of everybody, so I don't know if you have anything you want to talk to me about.
No. Everybody loves you here, Devin.
I don't think so. I think I
we really do.
I think I appreciate you saying that. yeah, but I want to. I think Destiny probably has more important things to do. Unless you want me to. Unless you want to talk about something or have questions or whatever. I don't know.
Well, I
go ahead.
Was gonna say, do you want? I just made a list of some stuff for YouTube. Do you want that? Can I send that to you on Discord or something?
Absolutely. Yes, that would be, and I would really like that. I will add you. Yes.
Sure. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah.
Good to
Of
meet
course.
you.
No, thank you. Yeah, back at you, man. Of course. Yeah, Steven, where are you at?
Where am I at? Like in
should
Florida?
I? No, I know where you're at. Like,
Oh.
should I depart or?
Yeah, we're good. Unless you get anything else. Oh, I'm gonna read this Whitmer stuff. Yeah. What's up?
No, go for it. But how close are you to Disneyland?
From Miami Beach, probably like 2.5 hours, I think. 3 hours maybe.
That is not bad. If I head out to Orlando, you want to go to Disneyland?
Let me know when and maybe. I'll do that, okay? I'll give you that much.
Bro, it's the happiest place on earth.
Is it?
Yeah, we fly there. My SO and I, we fly there pretty often. Yeah. So, or would it be chill if we stopped by next time?
Yeah, but if you're going to Orlando, stopping by Miami, that's like a 3-hour drive out of the way. But yeah, if you want to, yeah, of course, anytime.
No, we just fly into your place for a day and then we fly out. Can you fly between the two?
Can you fly?
Can you? Yeah. Like
I would probably try
yeah.
it because it's wide to the airport. But if you're not renting a car or anything, yeah, for sure.
Easy as, brother. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, just let me know. Give me a heads up. Yeah.
Okay, I'll put you across the board. Hey, thank you for taking your time for me. Really appreciate it.
All
right. Okay, thank you. Bye. Yeah, love you too. Bye.
Bye. During the initial investigation of social media chats, the FBI said that they encountered Barry Croft and Adam Fox. The FBI then interviewed Chappelle, who agreed to, or is it Chappelle or is it Chappell? We'll say Chappell, who agreed to become a confidential source after they raised concerns that there were plans to kill officers. According to many of the plotters, as detailed in a report by BuzzFeed News, their first meetings were arranged by someone who turned out to be a longtime government informant from Wisconsin who paid for hotel rooms and food as incentives. On March 30th, Pete Musico, a co-founder of the Wolverine Watchmen, made a comment about placing Whitmer under citizen's arrest and numerous other statements on tape that prosecutors later said had indicated a violent intent. Intentions by the group to obtain Whitmer's address reportedly went as far back as April 19th, according to court records. That same month, the Wolverine Watchmen built a fake house with PVC tubing, referred to as a kill house. And Chappell showed them how to push inside the building and clear the rooms. According to Chappell, Musico would circle the fake house and pretend to wait on her so he could catch that bitch as she came out the emergency exit. On April 30th, all members of the group attended an armed protest at the Michigan State Capitol, which prosecutors said was the beginning of opportunities to conduct surveillance. Chappell reportedly heard whispers about storming the state capitol during this time, but this did not happen when Michigan State police officers stood down and granted the protesters access to the building. Oh, they let him in. On May 8th, the FBI obtained a federal search warrant to review Croft's Facebook account. Agents found messages plotting potential acts of violence, including a May 3rd post referencing a male individual who may be first and was wanted in custody. The FBI claims this individual was South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster. The plot was reportedly hatched in an official capacity on June 6th among a group of about a dozen individuals meeting in Dublin, Ohio. Dublin? A suburb located northwest of Columbus. A confidential source at the meeting reported that the group primarily sought to establish a new self-reliant society that adhered to the U.S. Bill of Rights. Participants reportedly discussed peaceful and violent actions of achieving this goal, with talks shifting to how state governments were allegedly violating the U.S. Constitution, how tyrants should be killed, and that those present should return home to recruit neighbors. The FBI subsequently began infiltrating the group online and in person with additional informants in June. According to a criminal complaint, a total of 12 informants were ultimately involved in the investigation, according to a federal court filing obtained by BuzzFeed News. Starting at that point, the FBI began compiling photographs, video footage, telephone calls, and encrypted messages made by the suspects and storing them as evidence on a USB flash drive. The content said to consist of hundreds of hours of undercover audio recordings and more than 13,000 pages. God, I have a hair that's within my field of view and I can't find it, so it's very hard to see. And encrypted messages made by the suspects and storing them as evidence on a USB flash drive. Content said to consist of hundreds of hours of undercover audio recordings and more than 1,300 or 13,000 pages of encrypted text messages. Was released by the U.S. District Court for the Western District of Michigan on October 16th. Hassan is ready to forgive you if you only do a few things.
So if Destiny said sorry, you'd be cool with that? Yes. Yes. If he came out and apologized for literally fucking aligning with every and any Nazi that he could fucking come to terms with and directing his community to cyber stalk me for the past fucking 5 years and have entire paste bins full of like clips out of context that they can readily throw at any conversation and try to literally brigade any and every mention of me online. If he was genuinely apologetic, I absolutely would take that charitably. Doesn't mean I'd be friends with him. I used to be friends with him. I was friends with him because I thought he was a reformed libertarian. I knew his past. I've defended him. I've defended him time and time again.
You know what I just realized?
There are multiple of Destiny says
Hassan is like a child. A debate minor, if you will. And that's why he calls us debate pedophiles, because we fuck the shit out of him every time he tries to say some retarded shit. It all clicks now. Actual childlike behavior. I don't like it when Destiny does all these things that I do to him all the time. Fucking moron. Recruitment. After the Ohio meeting, Fox contacted the militia already being investigated by the FBI, seeking assistance for the plot. On June 14th, the militia held a field training exercise. That day, Fox contacted one confidential source in a recorded phone call, detailing the Ohio meeting, and he requested 200 men to attack the state capitol in order to take Whitmer and others as hostage and hold a trial for the governor accusing her of treason. Requested 200 men from what? Jesus. During the call, Fox reportedly said to the source that the operation had to occur prior to the 2020 United States presidential election. During a Second Amendment event at the state capitol on June 18th, Fox was recorded by a confidential source attempting to recruit militia group leaders to unite in an effort to attack the state capitol. 2 days later, on June 20th, Fox invited individuals, including one confidential source, to where he was employed in Grand Rapids. According to the source, Fox collected cell phones to prevent recordings and led participants through a trapdoor from the main floor, though the source wore a concealed recording device unknown to those gathered. Audio from the meetings provided to the FBI contained discussions of an assault on the Capitol, how to counterattack first responders, and the use of Molotov cocktails to destroy law enforcement vehicles. It was concluded. I wonder if these recordings, are any of these public? It was concluded that the group would meet on the first weekend of July, where they would discuss plans and perform training exercises. In a June 25th Facebook video captured by the FBI, Fox held a live stream criticizing the justice system, the government of Michigan, and the state's order closing gyms, calling Whitmer a tyrant bitch and stating to viewers, I don't know, boys, we got to do something. You guys link with me on our other location system. Give me some ideas of what we can do. Training and planning. We will get through all this today. Training first occurred on June 28th in Monmouth, Michigan, at a militia member's property, with Fox, his girlfriend, Ty Garbin, Caleb Franks, Caserta, and a confidential source participating in the exercises. Participants were told to leave if they felt uncomfortable with attacking the government and participating in kidnapping. According to Musico's defense attorney, Fox started making comments about storming the state capitol during this training session, but there was no agreement from the other members, and Musico expressed concern about the plan's tactical viability, saying it's a fishbowl. Court documents released on November 13th alleged that in addition to storming the capitol, there were plans of executing hostages and televising them over the course of a week, or locking people inside the building while the legislature was in session and setting it on fire with the intention of leaving no survivors. According to Musico's attorney, from that day to October 1st, there was no activity from the Wolverine Watchmen due to a fight between Fox and Musico's eventual departure from the group. However, the FBI's confidential source for the investigation said the participants met for weapons exercises in Cambria, Wisconsin, between July 10th and 12th, with Croft, Garbin, and a militia member attempting to make an improvised explosive device. On July 11th, though the device was defective. Franks also brought a rifle equipped with a suppressor, firing at the time. At a second meeting in Ohio held on July 18th, audio collected by a confidential source revealed discussions of attacking a Michigan State Police station, though Garbin rejected plans of an assault on the Capitol building, instead suggesting to attack Whitmer's family vacation home on Burke Lake in Elk Rapids. In a July 14th call, recorded by a source, Fox said he researched the governor's office, concluding that Whitmer would not be present there, and was heard saying, in all honesty right now, I just want to make the world glow, dude. I'm not even fucking kidding. I just want to make it all glow, dude. I don't fucking care anymore. I'm just so sick of it. That's what it's going to take for us to take it back. We're just going to have to... We're just gonna have to. Everything's gonna have to be annihilated, man. We're gonna topple it all, dude. It's what great freaking conquerors, man. We're just gonna conquer every fucking thing, man. In a July 26th call with a confidential source, Fox said maybe we should just make a bunch of cupcakes and send them out, with the source interpreting this as Fox seeking to initiate a widespread bombing campaign, according to the FBI. At Destiny, hey man, I just got an alto sax last week after 16 years. Can't seem to get my embouchure correct to get a stable tone. Any tips? Try sucking dick. Halo, $5. You should say you will offer Hassan an apology if he reads and goes through the entirety of the N-word manifesto. True. The only tips I would ever say is if you're working on embouchure as a wind instrument player, everything you learn in grade school or high school about biting with your lip to increase or decrease pressure on the reed is always wrong. Should always be using the muscles on the side of your face. Never pressure with your teeth biting through your lip. Don't ever do that. That's cringe.
What's up guys, and welcome back to another video right onto my YouTube channel. Today I'm gonna basically tell you how to fix an issue that you have freezes or FPS drops in Call of the Lamb. So stick to the end guys, this will be a step-by-step tutorial. In the end you will probably know how to fix this issue. But before we start right into the video guys, I just want to let you guys know that I would really appreciate it if you would just leave a like to your taskbar, where you're gonna right click and open up your task manager. What I want you to do right here is you're gonna search for every single process which is currently having too much GPU CPU usage, and you're gonna end this process by right clicking it and click on end task. Once you did that, you're gonna close the task manager, and the next step is gonna be to navigate to the bottom left corner of your screen, opening up your settings. Once this window pops up, I want you to navigate onto gaming, left click and stick right to your game bar. What I want you to do into your game bar, I want you to just disable it or turn it off, because especially in low-end PCs this really doesn't come with any benefit. What I want you to do into your gaming, left click and stick right to your game bar. What I want you to do into your game bar, I want you to just disable it or turn it off, because especially in low-end PCs this really doesn't come with any benefits and will really affect affect your game, especially will impact the problem with FPS drops and freezing, so turn this off. The next step is going to be to go to captures and turn this also off. So background recording should be on off, because especially on not good PCs, if you are recording in the background, this will probably impact your performance really hard and it will cause FPS drops and freezing. So just listen to me guys and turn this off. Once you did that, you can also return back once and hit update in security. What I want you to do right here is stick to Windows updates and click on check for updates and download the latest version of Windows. This will help you a lot with FPS drops, because you are providing the best possible performance for your system when you download the latest version of Windows. Once you're finished here, you're gonna close this one again and go in security. Turn this off. Once you did that, you can also return back once and hit update in security. What I want you to do right here is stick to Windows updates and click on check for updates and download the latest version of Windows. This will help you a lot with FPS drops, because you are providing the best possible performance for your system when you download the latest version of Windows. Once you're finished here, you're gonna close this one again and go to your graphics card and do the same thing. So if you have NVIDIA or AMD, it doesn't really matter. I want you to basically download the latest version in order to provide the best possible performance and decrease the percentage of upcoming freezing and FPS drops. Yeah guys, that's it for the video. I hope I could actually help you out with this one. If it was like that, just leave a like, a comment or a subscription. I'm really sorry if I couldn't help you out. For me, it fixed my issue. I'm just trying to do my best for you. And yeah guys, I hope you
you